This thing might get spicy here. We saw a lot of carnage. Whoa!
Ooh, someone jumping off the track in the background. That was Jax Lindsay.
That was Lindsay, yeah.
Cash Woods is through. 1-5 now for Cash Woods. Sits on 6 points. Gets through Jax Lindsay. Lindsay needs to pass Woods again to, I think, even maybe just still end up on the podium. That's how tight it is. But Dallaire back in position on a 3-4 is on 7 points. He would need to go past Holtzy. This is playing into the hands of Cash Woods to try to win the overall. Meanwhile, Jackson Vick has led from the gate drop all the way through this thing, just absolutely putting a moto down out front. 8 seconds clear of Hayden Stevenson, and Stevenson still sitting in position to maybe even get 6th overall. And Jared Binks in chat, a.k.a. Jeremy Hinner, saying, should he make a comeback next year? 1,000% you should make a comeback. I'm fully here for the Hinner's reunion tour in 2026 every day of the week.
I don't want to lose my job.
No, I'm not saying to do the race. It's called the racing. You should come back to do anything. Race, hang out, anything. We're here for it. But yeah, the battle is still on as Holtzy comes up a little bit short. Dallaire is trying to get him. This would be for the overall if he can pass him and go 3-3 ahead of Cash Woods' 1-5. So Dallaire still fighting for it as Holtzy. Oh, I'm sorry, that was a lap.
You were looking
got me messed up because they look
close.
like teammates. It is close. And Cash Woods is right there behind Dallaire. Lapper problems getting into Holtzy, causing some mistakes for him, so he gets a little bit blocked here, and Dallaire can get into the picture, maybe make the pass to win the overall. Cash Woods is still right there. Dallaire goes short on the jump, as meanwhile, Jackson Vick wins Moto 2 here in St. Louis. Stevenson's going to be second, and it's going to come down to this. Dallaire versus Woods for the overall, and in the way of that is Evan Holt. If Dallaire can go past him with 1 corner to go, let's see what happens. This is going to get tight. Oh, Dallaire's going to send it. And you know Holtzy wants to hold his line. He's going to pass him and take him out, but then Cash Woods gets back alongside, so Dallaire wins or gets into a podium position, but it's actually going to be Cash Woods who still wins it on a 1-4. He needed Holtzy to be between him, and that doesn't happen. Jax Lindsay ends up on a 2-5, and I think after the math settles, a 1-4 for Woods gets the job done over a 3-3 out of Dylan Dallaire.
But you know who it is going his way? The Coopers. We got 2 of them in real life SMX, and we got 2 of them out here, and they are 1-2 on the racetrack. Cooper Hunt leading Jeff Cooper. And a great showing, honestly, by these guys. It's pretty awesome anytime you can beat the likes of Eaglin Carter and Seth Carr, who's, you know, he was out there fighting. He was leading and never gave up and still holding on.
Yep, Cooper Hunt on his way to taking the white flag this time by 14-1 kind of evening for him. Insane scores. Jeff Cooper up in here. Seth Carr got around Heilman. Heilman gets him back. Is Seth Carr aware of the point situation here? Because, like, he's got this thing pretty well covered, and it doesn't look like he has much urgency to move forward. I mean, obviously another crash could really hurt him again, I guess, but he seems to be rather comfortable with his position on the track at this point.
Yeah, I think he just, I mean, last white flag leader just took the white flag right now, so I think honestly you're just thinking stay on 2 wheels. Like, you don't really need Heilman. Like, you came in with the number 1 seed. You then grabbed it after the first round, and then now it's like just stay up. You don't need to go and dominate. But look, he's actually being safe, trying not to pass. I don't think because he wants to make a move. Don't want to open yourself up to having a guy, you know, on the inside or getting stuck or being in a line you're not comfortable with. He's just hitting the brakes and playing it safe.
Playing it safe indeed,
Until
but he's still going to try to get that pass done on Heilman. Heilman reads it, cuts back underneath, and whips in his face, says, I want 3rd place, man. I don't give a crap about what kind of red plates you got on your bike. I'm going to fight tooth and nail for this position, and he certainly is going for it. Let's see if Carr just sends him into the corner here. He thought about it and slides in, but lays it down, and it doesn't work in the end. He's actually, I think, no, he didn't lose the spot. Yeah. He still got the double cleanly. So
Levi Kitchen round 2.
Joey Carter right there, right on his rear fender, not going to get there. Speaking of not going to get there, nobody's going to get to Cooper Hunt by the end of this race, and Dino going to get the job done on the District Designs number 82 to come back from a 14th in Moto 1 to win Moto 2 here in St. Louis. Cooper Hunt up on top in Moto 2. Jeff Cooper makes it a Cooper 1-2. And we got John Heilman coming across in third, but your winner tonight, Seth Carr, with a 1-4, gets the job done. Almost did some sort of sick backflip, underflip thing. Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the finals of the 2025 MX Simulator Playoffs live here on Start Your Systems TV. I'm Kellen Brower, of course, joined in the booth as always by Andrew Wood. The 3-race format is coming to a close, but we have triple points on the line tonight in Las Vegas. We also have a very interesting racetrack, of course, laid out ahead of us, and 2 championships that will be decided within the next few hours. So obviously, this is a big night for MX Simulator. Really cool to see these 2 championships decided. What are you most excited for, Andrew Wood?
I'm most excited for this 250 finale. I think it's the closest one we've had in a while with the triple points. I feel like it's anyone's game, maybe inside the top 5. So we'll have the full breakdown on where everyone's got in qualifying and where the points lie. But I'm excited for the race, excited for the last race of the year. Vegas, baby, let's go.
Yeah, we'll talk about the championship scenarios in just a minute, but for those that haven't tuned in the last couple weeks, basically a little bit more wide open in the 250 class. Seems like obviously there's a bit of an interesting dynamic there. 450 is a bit wide open. It's going to take a lot to knock Seth Carr off, but that 250 class, Cash Woods in the red plate, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, I think Cash Woods trying to hold on to that red plate. We'll talk more about where everyone ended up in qualifying here soon, but I'm really excited to see if there's a couple other guys that could play spoiler in there. And I feel like the triple points, it's going to come down. I think the first moto is like hardly even going to count too if some of these guys are inside the top 10. I think there's a lot that could go down. I'm really excited to see how this track breaks down too.
Yeah, so you mentioned qualifying. If you're new to MX Simulator Racing, these guys literally just got the track for the first time about 55 minutes ago. They immediately jumped into servers, started running laps, trying to get their qualifying times down, and this is where we are at. Braden Tharp, the number 1 seed coming into the playoffs, but does not have the championship lead right now, goes to the top right near the end of qualifying here, 26.6 over Jackson Vick, who won the second moto last week, crucially in St. Louis at a 26.9. Delaire, Cash Woods, Jake Spieth, basically all the familiar faces that are going for a championship tonight are up there, and I guess it sets us up for a good one because they're all pretty close too.
Yeah, every name that you think is going to be there is up there in qualifying, maybe, a second off the pace, but there's so much track out there. The way it's breaking down in the outdoor sections, all the ruts, maybe they haven't exactly figured out something, but they'll have a little bit of time too while the LCQs are kind of running. So they don't need to have this track down right now, but Braden Tharp was the favorite coming in. He definitely jumped up, sniped the top spot from these guys so far. Maybe another few minutes left for them to get in some times, but Braden Tharp looking good and looking fast already. Cash Woods needs to find a second to get up there with him.
We had a quick question from Lee Simon in chat asking why everyone's on a KTM. The way MX Simulator works is you can run any dyno that you want, but the bike skin you can change around. So we're going to see Yamahas, Suzuki's, Husqvarna's, KTM's as well, but a definite mix of brands will be ran. They just all choose the same dyno because, well, it's been proven to be the best, obviously, since it dropped in 2018, way back when. Go a little bit down the line here, and you'll see Christopher Harrison 21st on back. Some of these guys do have faster times than our top 20, but the way it works is if you are in the top 20 in seating, you automatically get in. And if someone is not signed up that was in the top 20 in seating, the next guy in seating automatically slots into the top 20. So we're going to take 2 out of the LCQs no matter what. That's why you see some of these times a little bit lower up ahead. But Harris, Arnbrister, Lost and Die, a couple names we'll keep an eye on in that LCQ coming up in just a minute. To the 450 class, though, it is Seth Carr who has that championship lead and goes fastest at a 26.3. But Seth Shirley, who's been getting the ball slowly rolling in this playoffs, goes second fastest, only a 0.4 off, Haywood.
Yeah, him and Wyatt Grant too as well. I like where they're positioned at in qualifying right now. Then some pretty big gaps, it feels like, after the top 5. So keep an eye on those names you see up front. The 2 Seths going at it. I feel like we've been seeing that all year long. So going to be fun to see if Shirley can come out and try to win at the finale. Try to, take some points away from Carr and force him to have a good night. I think it's going to be real interesting. The 250 is a little bit tighter, but 450 is always a good show. I feel like the racing's always really good from them too. Yeah, and you'll see a couple names missing from this list, and even if we scroll down, you probably won't see them as we even have some guys that haven't ran a lap time, but are signed up. Jeremy Seabolt, Bodie Parker probably will get in. Walter Gebhardt has been the LCQ warrior, winning the last 2 weeks in the LCQ, and again, a ridiculous time of a 26.609 would have him third fastest had he made it in. But some of those names missing, as I mentioned, if we go to our championship standings and look at the 450 class, Seth Carr up 20 points on Tyler Lang, not here tonight. He's actually not even in town, so he's unable to race this event. Go to third place, Braden Carter, 31 back. Also not here tonight, but this is due to a suspension. Found out about this earlier today. He actually targeted Seth Shirley late in the 450 Moto 2 last week, and as a result of a protest, will be sitting out tonight. It sounds like a third party reviewed this entire incident and deemed it too aggressive, went in for the punt, took Seth Shirley down, will not be racing tonight. So bummer to see those guys out. And then Frank Jackson sounds like he has a torn ligament in his thumb, which of all the things you could have an injury of, it has to be your thumb when you're playing a video game. So even Jackson, who will try to race tonight, is a little bit under the 8 ball. So Wyatt Grant, Seth Shirley, hey, Ash Deering, step up. You guys might have a shot at getting this thing done if Seth Carr blows it. Yeah, it's funny. This has been the year of the UCL instead of the ACL, and even Frank Jackson might be losing his. And then Braden Carter, it's bummer to see what we saw earlier with the dirty riding that we missed out on. Then Tyler Lang was closest. Honestly, Tyler Lang was close enough to be in that if you win and Seth Carr can get third or fourth and you got it, really close with the triple points. So bummer that he's not even going to be here because he was the closest. So Wyatt Grant, Seth Shirley, step up. You're the next closest, next fastest guys, and try to go out there and play spoiler a little bit, put some pressure on Carr. And hey, if he gets a really bad start, you see those guys up there. he's going to be forcing himself through the pack, and we've seen it all year. The fastest guys, whether it was Payson Johnson or Braden Carter in Supercrosses throughout the past years, you could be the fastest guy and go down in the first corner, and if the nerves get to you, you might not be able to make it past 10th or 15th place. So those guys got to step up and get the best finish they can and hope Carr has a rough night.
Yeah, Carr has to have a brutal night to lose this thing. 75 points on the table, though, so even if you're Wyatt Grant or Seth Shirley, if Carr has a horrific night, which we did see last year, Seth Carr came into the 250 finals ready to wrap this thing up. Balzer went 2-1, I believe, and Carr had like a 14th or a 15th in the second moto, and Balzer got it done. It's not completely impossible, but it definitely looks like a long shot. Let's talk 250s, though. Cash Woods up 11 on Tharp. Tharp needs Cash Woods to finish third or worse if he were to win this title, but anything beyond that, and it could get wild. And we've seen mixed results through these first two rounds. I mean, you go all the way back to Charlotte Concord to kick this thing off. Cash Woods was 6th overall at that race. So anything is still on play here. And look, Jackson Vick, Dylan Delaire, Evan Holt, even these guys are still within shot that if things get wild, they could win this.
Yeah, I think you're looking at those guys in the 20s. So Evan Holt would be the last guy that I feel like has it, but Jax Lindsay had really good speed last week, so maybe he's just one that plays spoiler, and you're welcoming that if you're one of those other guys. Dylan Delaire goes out. Cash Woods, if they get 5th, they're screwed. So all those guys, man, when qualifying is that close and this 250 class is as all over as it is, they really got to lock in Braden Tharp and Cash Woods. These two need to go for it because the rest of those guys are looking to slot in and take it over.
Absolutely. So that is your championship picture rolling into tonight and a good look at what those look like. Now let's jump into the game and talk about this racetrack that we have set forth for these guys. Now you're seeing it in the day. It will turn tonight after these last chance qualifiers. Really cool thing that the Battlegrounds guys have done. And it was super one line in real life. We already got a track preview of it, but you seem to think that those outdoor sections really could come into play as some pivotal passing points.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't seen too much of it yet. I reserve the right to change my opinion on the inside Supercross type sections, but I think there's just so much going on with the ruts outside, and who knows, it could be super one line, but there's a lot of inside rollers, a lot of places they can send off and kind of cut off some lines with the ruts. So I think the sand section you see inside here, and then everything else until you get back in are going to be a little bit more important than the inside Supercross, because there are rhythm sections, but they're pretty short and basic, so I don't think these guys are going to struggle with them too much.
Yeah, hopefully not. It'll be interesting to see how this all lays out. And, of course, some sand sections also to mix things up. It's not just a dirt track here in Las Vegas. Want to give a shout-out to a couple guys in the chat that have been warming things up for us. VMX for Life resubbing up on Prime for his 6th month in a row. Thanks so much, VMX, as well. And It's Thumper also subbing up 4 months in a row with his Prime. Again, if you guys are over on the Twitch side watching, you have an Amazon Prime account. You get a free subscription on Twitch every single month, and so there's a lot of people that don't even know that, aren't even using it. You don't have to spend anything else extra, but obviously a little bit kicks back to us if you do that. So if you do, that would be great. If not, I totally understand. But we get to roll into our 250 last chance qualifier coming up here first and give you a rundown of who's going to the gate. We got Will Now, Darius Peterson, Josh Crummett, Tyler Perez, Jacob Arnbrister, Elliot Person, Christopher Harris, Christopher McPherson, Brandon Nygren, Logan Mortberg, Nick Thomasunas, Seth Devers, Lawson Dye, Timmy Briscoe, Caden Wharton, and Stephen Short. Now I'm wondering, did my game crash or did I just...
I think it crashed.
I wasn't in the window, so it's going to just take a minute to respond here, and we'll be back after these quick, messages from Andrew Wood.
It's crazy. There's only like 25 blimps in the world, and we managed to get 2 of them out to Las Vegas for this race as they're going to circle the track overhead. I think it is going to be interesting to see if the track changing from day to night is going to maybe mess with anyone from what they're qualifying on to running LCQs on and then running the night show. So it is going to be a fun look, though. I think it's one of the first times we've had this in our racing, so going to be cool to see just how the track changes. It already shocked me when I first saw it go daytime for the first time. So
yeah, let me ask you a question about this track, and specifically the tight sections, pretty much from the finish line all the way until you go out of the drag strip area. Now, we saw in real life kind of one line, really difficult to make a pass, where in sim, it's tough to run close to people because if you touch someone, it's really easy to fall, have a legs off crash. So do you think we're even going to see almost more separation there because guys won't want to run too close.
I do. I think, I think it's going to maybe even be worse. I do think that it all kind of matters. A lot of the inside corners have these far out berm corners and they're all off camber. So it's like, if that berm is built up pretty big on the outside, then maybe there's an opportunity for someone to send it out there, rail the corner and dive up the inside. If you see, I think they have it on their screen, top right section with the red bales, there's a big inside roller into an inside rut. So maybe they can send it outside where it's a lot more mellow, big bull corner. And hopefully those guys can make some moves. I'm really hoping it's not just all one line from basically the finish line until you leave the stadium, but we'll see. I think this 250 class, the 250 last chance wild card qualifier is going to show us a little bit. Even though they're hectic, I think it'll be interesting to see if anyone gets any passes made there.
Yeah, we'll keep a close eye look on that. And also shout out to Josh Grant. His son Wyatt racing here tonight with a shot at winning the championship. Says that his dad's been watching these races. So shout out Josh Grant. Always good to see a familiar face hanging out in the chat. I mean, all of you guys are pretty familiar faces at this point in time, but Josh Grant, one of the steeziest riders there has ever been, and cool to see that he tunes in and watches some of these races. We know Wyatt can absolutely lay down some burners, and he's been getting really consistent lately, so maybe he could be on for a win tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he was my favorite rider forever too. So always, if you're looking at a parade lap and you need everyone's just boner airing the triples and you're at Supercross, he's gonna throw down a big whip for you. Yeah, always good times. I remember watching Glenn Helen, him win Moto 1 on his Yamaha and sitting right next to his dad, sign my phone case. Favorite rider out there, steeziest, and not many people have it like him anymore.
Absolutely
Appreciate
not.
them coming out. Also, dude, I'm rooting for Wyatt. I like Wyatt.
I mean, he's definitely coming to his own of late. It's been cool to see the turnaround that Wyatt's had and see how he does here tonight. All right.
Good.
Sorry for that delay there for those in the server. My game crashed, so we had to come back in there for a second. But it is time to go racing in these last chance qualifiers. So only a 5-minute plus 1 lap race. This is a bit of a longer lap time. It's going to be really tight going across that finish line jump, whether or not we see this go 4 laps or 5, but we'll find out here in just a minute. First race of the night coming at you. It's the 250 last chance qualifier to go through. Let's find out who they are. We are off and running in Las Vegas. One rider hits the gate on the outside. It's a land rush, some doubling and some chaos as Timmy Briscoe goes wide. Tyler Perez up the inside, sneaks the whole shot alongside Jacob Arnbrister. Perez and Arnbrister to the outside. Perez locks it down, and he's got the early lead.
I am so astonished by how clean that line was with those singles coming down that start straight. Pretty intense as Perez almost gets moved up by Jay-Z on the inside. But they're going to stay 1-2 here. 3 riders close behind them in the pack, though. Let's see. Here's this outside. So they're going outside roller to the inside. So that's one I thought that there might be some passing. But if you can take that line, maybe not. So, big mistake there, though, and that's going to allow Armbruster in the lead.
Yep, Arnbrister up the inside, and you saw the different options right there. On-off option for Tyler Perez, swung him a little bit wide. He got a terrible angle to that inside rut. Jay-Z chose to step down and then single up the inside, got a better line to that inside rut, and able to sneak by into the race lead. So it's Arnbrister out front, Perez back into second. He's got his Boots House teammate, Brandon Nygren, hot on his heels in third. Getting a little bit sideways in the background, actually, as Nygren almost pulls up alongside. He's going to try to get to this inside on this launch single. Goes to the low line even. Up to the double. Not quite dualies. They don't get side by side, but he's going to funnel in behind his teammate. Will he? No, he's actually going to give a nose right there. They're playing fair, though, early on as we get launched down the hill off of this big tabletop.
Yeah, if I'm Perez, I'm kind of mad at my teammate for getting that close. I mean, he cut the track a little bit up the inside of that roller, and I mean, that's dangerous for him. I think first lap is one of the worst times that you can actually cut the track too in sim with the way the cuts work out. So Nygren might be even looking at some small penalties for that. But Perez holding on so far right now. Look how fast this section is, Kellen. I think, honestly, you might see some big crashes here later in the night. I did not realize that section was going to play out like that. But Brandon Nygren's still chasing right now, losing a little bit of traction to his teammate Tyler Perez. But also starting to have Logan Mortberg move up on his rear wheel as he makes a small mistake but is able to hold on to it.
Yeah, Logan Mortberg there on that Suzuki, backed by EVP, holding on to the 4 spot. Again, only 2 riders go through out of this last chance qualifier, so you've got to get in those top 2 positions. Armbruster running away out front. Perez has settled in nicely in the 2 spot, but his teammate hot on his heels, and I almost wonder now if it's getting frustrating for Mortberg back there that he can't get around Nygren just yet and set sail after Perez, because it seems like he might even have a little bit more speed in hand.
Yeah, I do. I think he's both these guys right now behind look like they got more speed at times, but it's kind of the classic. Oh, and Sim Mortberg over the berm, but stays on 2 wheels, able to hold it together, cutting the track a little bit there. What is we doing, baby? But yeah, so maybe just a 3-man race right here. I guess 2-man for the qualifying spot, but good thing he didn't go all the way down. But it's a classic in Sim. You're the fastest guy on the track, but you can't keep it on 2 wheels. And it's just, you see it in real life too, but a little bit more in this game where crashes are a little bit more common. And these guys just making small mistakes. It's all about keeping it together. You don't need to be the fastest guy out there all the time.
Yeah, another mistake for Mortberg has really opened the gap. And now we go back to our teammates 2nd and 3rd. It's still Tyler Perez ahead of Brandon Nygren. Now there's only 1 more seat available to get into the main show. Time has not yet expired. We still have about a minute and a half. So it's going to be pretty close next time by to see if we get an extra lap. I'm sure if you're Perez, you want to hold this spot, but he's going to land in the tough locks and go down. Nygren takes over, and through goes Mortberg up the inside into 3rd. I was going to ask about team dynamics and how close this gets, but there you go. Perez lays it down.
Yeah, I mean, there's still opportunity for that to happen, though. At least 1.5 laps to go since the white flag did not fly that time around. So Perez still can kind of take what he learned from the first 2 laps and try to just keep it on 2 wheels and hope that there's a mistake. I don't know if he has the raw speed to completely catch back up, but this track seems to be biting these guys early on.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Tricky to stay consistent on, at least so far for these 250s, and it's high speed, so it's even a bit more technical for 250s to keep that momentum going. Mortberg getting away a little bit, but Nygren has that gap opened up. Now, can Mortberg close the gap down? Obviously, that is a question. It almost seems, though, is that Nygren is looking forward. He maybe wants to go run down Armbruster for the lead, and that might be the best thing for him as well to keep that gap established behind him.
Yeah, I think so, and I think it's sometimes it gets weird just riding alone by yourself, and you kind of can lose focus. I think having something to charge at ahead of you kind of can help you. Not that you're going to be pushing the limits, but kind of checking your pit board every few sections, seeing if you gained a 10th here or there, and I think it's really nice to kind of know that you are not only pulling away from the guys behind you, but also pulling in the rider in front of you and not getting stagnant and kind of hitting your marks.
So Nygren checks in onto lap number 5, and time had expired just a few seconds ago, but JZ Armbruster had made it over the line. He lays it down, though, from the lead. So that is going to give Nygren the lead. Look at Armbruster back up the inside trying to take it back. Oh, it's going to get close. They both go for the same rut, and it's going to be the lead given to Nygren. Armbruster backed out of the challenge. Man, they both almost came together there.
Yeah, it's so tricky, though. Like, you're the only 2 that are qualifying right now. You don't need to be going anywhere near anyone. We just talked about this. If I'm Armbruster, I would have been going way outside there, giving it up. You don't need the one better gate pick. You're both going to be 21st and 22nd to the line. So I don't know. Maybe he wants to win this, sees a big gap behind him, but it's not that big. It's only about 4.5 seconds right now, and they're both sending it. So look at this. A small mistake by Nygren. Going to let Armbruster right up the inside. Not going to be able to make the pass, but he gets alongside him and shows him that he's there. And we will probably get white flag this time around. But, man, there's a lot of time left in this race and a lot of time for them to make mistakes.
They're certainly racing each other quite hard for 2 guys that are comfortably in a transfer spot right now. Still 5 seconds back to Mortberg in the 3 spot. Perez 2 seconds back of that. So if these 2 get together, it's still fair game behind them for what could go on. But it seems like they're maybe going to settle it down and not actually dispute this win. Maybe just ride together with 1 lap to go. I don't know. I still feel like Armbruster looks fired up to try to go win this thing, and he doesn't need to.
He does, and honestly, I think that might end up in him getting the short end of the stick here. He just seems to be pushing, and they're not making crazy moves like up or down the inside trying to like take each other out, but you could just tell that the pace is wicked up just a little bit. Fun line from Armbruster out there that we saw Shimoda and some of the guys doing in the real life race last week. And man, look at this speed. Kellen into the sand. If he gets this line clean, he'll be right up alongside him over the tunnel jump.
Yeah, he's going to change his line, go outside here, but that inside just still too good at this point in time. Of course, it'll wear down a little bit as the races go on, but it's a very, very big inside rut that Nygren rips through and holds steady with the position. Ooh, Armbruster misses that inside rut a little bit. Mortberg is still on the charge. He ran a 131.3 last time by. He's still about 5 seconds behind these guys. It looks closer than that. Now Armbruster back on to Nygren for the race lead.
Yeah, if Armbruster didn't go outside in the sand, he would have made the pass right there. I believe that wholeheartedly. But man, the track is shortening up on the way to the finish line. He wants to finish. So Nygren legs off, goes too long on the double down the hill. That's going to allow Mortberg to go by into the final transfer spot. Nygren getting up all the way back in fifth, just like that. Runs into his teammate.
No.
Now they're fourth and fifth. Going to be way out as Perez goes down on the back wheel of Dye. Mortberg into second and going to try to cruise this thing onto the finish line.
Unbelievable. I didn't even think he was going that long, but just landed awkwardly and an instant legs off fall. He's got to be fuming at his keyboard right now, but Mortberg, one corner to go, and he should be safely through. A little sideways there, a little kick there. Armbruster takes the win, and Mortberg gets the gift. He's going through to the main motos with P2 in this one. Unbelievable change of events, and Nygren just misses out in third. Perez went down with Lawson Dye, who also just crashed a few turns to go on that last lap. Steven Short, the Boots House guys, feels bad, man. 3, 5, 6 in this moto. They're all going home early tonight, and you hate that for them.
Yeah, their setup looks sick too, and I like them. They're really easy to spot on the track. They stand out from everyone. There's all these guys. Seth Evers, shout out. He's got so many fans in the chat every week. Briscoe coming up short. McPherson coming up short. Will now way back.
Yeet.
Sending it. And you see when he lands that jump, the way that it's built, they end up landing really rear wheel first. And in this game, it's not really ideal for going long and over jumping as you kind of want more in real life on a dirt bike with the suspension. You're easier landing flat on your front wheel, and I think that's exactly what happened when we saw him go down right there. Just going a little bit too long, was just landing too rear wheel hard, and sometimes you get a bad landing, and man, the game kicked him off, and it was not his night.
All right, so over the finish line they go, and that does solidify. We got a request to see some close-ups of these setups, so let's... they're going to restart too quick. Sorry, I was trying to get it in there, Senior Delat, but not available to do so. So 250 LCQ's done, 450 LCQ coming up next, and again, same story. Two guys will go through in that one. Let's tell you who's going to the line. We got Devin Johnson and Jeremy Smith. Talk about throwback names making it out here for the finals. Reed Young, Nicholas Langstrup, Brandon Larson, Devin Davis, Caden Pankow, Xander Brion, Austin Schaefer, Anthony Pachone, Aaron Rockefeller, Tyler Valentine, Carl Novak, and Zach Fisher make up the 14 riders going for 2 spots in the final LCQ of the year.
Oh, yeah. We'll try to get you some close-ups too. District Design guys always got good setups. Speaking of old names, Kyler Hockey, shout out. Brandon Nygren, $2 for a donation as well, saying that was a rough one, and rough one indeed, brother. But we're moving on. 450 class. Belar is looking good. I'm liking. He looks like an old school Stu.
A little close up of some of these setups here that we can get.
Yeah, no new gear for these guys.
I know,
no, that is new gear. It looks like the replacement.
Well, that's
the fly stuff.
New fly gear, yeah.
The alias
Chone. What, the replacement stuff?
No, something else.
Look at SYS Racing, Heckman Productions, Jeremy Smith.
This is our first rider all year. I've been here stuck in streams all year, and we finally got a blue SYS Yamaha out there on the track. Let's see that thing take it to the top spot.
Last race of running the 4. I guess he didn't score enough points this year. Feels bad, man. So JS4, the icon, he's had it since 2014.
Why would you not just show up and get a couple points,
Crazy.
Bro? If I had a 1 digit, I would be try-harding for 1 month a year just to score points.
All right, here we go. Time for the last LCQ of 2025 to go through. Let's find out who they are. We are racing again in Las Vegas, down off the hill into this tricky first turn, and a lot more chaos with the 450 guys. Out of the inside, it's Austin Schaefer who gets the lead this time. It's Caden Pankow right with him. Reed Young getting sideways, able to hold it together on the 377, but Schaefer gets the early lead.
So that start is going to be a problem for the rest of the night. When we get 22 guys on it with those singles down, I'm surprised, or we only get a couple of these guys surviving. Schaefer almost gets past right there, but is able to get on the gas and hook up some traction and pull back into the lead there. Caden Pankow was looking up the inside, and he almost was able to snag it away. But these two, I wonder if Pankow is going to try to push. He's been in the battle for the LCQs the last few weeks, but I feel like you just got to try to settle in the groove. But yeah, he's got some pressure behind him. He might need to get on the gas.
He does have Reed Young right there and Zach Fisher on the 48 getting into the mix as well. Jeremy Smith with a 5th place start ahead of Carl Novak. So there are some fast dudes here starting to push the pace. If you're Caden Pankow, you got to start laying it down. Meanwhile, laying it down out front is Austin Schaefer. So that's going to allow Reed Young up into the 2 spot. He gets back on with Schaefer side by side, gets together with him, jumping over Schaefer almost with Zach Fisher. Schaefer goes back to the 3 spot. Reed Young OJ's the double, and it's all kicking off here for 2nd place.
Yeah, there's a lot of puckering going on between these guys. Look at these guys not jumping they're going pretty long, but they weren't scrubbing too hard, trying not to have a fall off crash. Look at this, couple riders slowing down, looking up the inside. He jumps across over his head, tries to make the move. Schaefer almost gets landed on right there. What a wild turn of events. These 450 guys have a little bit more power. We see some different lines and trying to make some inside moves work where they can get the power back down. Jeremy Smith trying to make a pass on Austin Schaefer now as he almost goes over the bars. Was able to get up the inside into the inside rut. Oh, look at this drag race.
Side by side through this rhythm section, and JS4 cuts back up underneath, and down goes the 48 machine. That was Zach Fisher who laid it down. He's actually the 317, but he's running some different skins. JS4 made the pass up into 3rd place, getting around Schaefer. So now it's Reed Young still in 2nd, chasing Caden Pankow, but the 4 is coming.
Yeah, he is, Kellen. He's trying to move his way on forward, and he's honestly not too far behind the transfer position. But look at this in the sand section. 2 guys right up, trying to make a move on the inside. He goes in, he slams him over the berm. What an aggressive move. What are we doing? Oh my God!
Almost
These guys
takes
are
out another
colliding
guy.
everywhere.
Devin Johnson trying to jump over top of him, gets into the side of Schaefer and goes down. So another mistake right there. Here comes Devin Davis getting into the mix. He's now in 5th. Schaefer finds himself in 4th. Xander Brion, who's been quiet this entire race thus far, now up into 3rd, closing the gap down on Reed Young. And remember, Brion made it through in the first race of the year out of the LCQ, and then ended up inside of the top 10 overall at Charlotte. So he's got some speed in hand. Let's see if he can run down Reed Young.
Yeah, I mean, he's been fast in all of these races so far, making Steve Mathis proud on that 762 machine, trying to put that thing into the points paying races again here tonight. You could just tell that his speed is on a different level than some of these guys. I think he was one of the ones that went down on the start, so pulled his way back up. Look at Reed Young getting yanked, going to the inside, trying to protect, but Brion's going to have the preferred line on the outside, turns in the inside, gets on the brakes. They both slide out. Brion has to cut the track just a little bit. Reed Young makes it barely over the finish line. There's so much back and forth, so much chaos going down. LCQs never disappoint in MX Simulator.
What in the Hayden Deegan and Pro Motocross is going on out here right now? We got track cutting galore. These guys are all over the place as Brion moves up into 2nd place. Pankow is out 7 seconds in the race lead, so Brion trying to settle into the 2 spot. Young now under attack. Schaefer back on the charge, gets up the inside. I think he's going to make this pass into 3rd, and clearly Austin Schaefer has speed. If he can harness this together, he's actually going to get by Brion, who was down. So Schaefer in a 2nd, Young 3rd, and here's D. Davis up into the 4 spot.
Schaefer reminds me of a young Seth Carr who was just like the making passes and just throwing down hot laps, but crashes a lot. He seems a little bit wild, but Devin Davis, you got the wily vet right there. Reed Young going down right behind him as he goes long on that double. Devin Davis scrubbing the step down right here, trying to make some moves. He's been around forever, 14 years and counting. And look at this, though, still competitive. Didn't make it through with qualifying with points, maybe not enough races. He's been good. Austin Schaefer down on the outside. Devin Davis makes the move up the inside, and Schaefer is going to go crazy. And I think we might see him send it. Checkers or wreckers, baby.
Yeah, we're about to see an absolutely insane race, and D. Davis goes down by himself, laying the nose onto the outside line right there, and down he goes. So now Brion back onto the picture. Here's Nicholas Langstrup in 5th. nowhere to be seen this whole race. Suddenly he's back up here. We have passed time, but the leader out front, Pankow, crossed before time expired again, so still 2 laps to go. Now Austin Schaefer, who's been all over the place, has to lock in and hold this down for 2 more laps.
Yes, sir. I think he can do it, though, with having a little bit more of a gap, but you don't really have to worry once you're there. But Schaefer I think if he just takes like a second or 2 off his lap time, these guys behind him, as you see Devin Davis plowing through the sand, absolutely sending it with Brion on his tail, these guys are going to move forward if they don't make any mistakes. But the thing is, not far enough if Austin Schaefer just keeps it on 2 wheels as Brion goes around the outside. Crazy block pass just get in front of D Davis, saying, you're holding me back. I want to make a charge at the front too, even though they're starting to check out. Yeah,
and Brion definitely has that speed in hand. We know Schaefer is going fast up there as well. So who is going to survive this one as Schaefer still has a lap and a half to navigate? Pankow gone at the front of the field. He's got this thing pretty well wrapped up. I like this inside line though. I wonder if these 450 guys use it enough in their motos, if it will actually develop into a line that more guys end up taking, because we know the erode system will wear in a little bit. I'm not sure how much they maybe let that corner get dug out or whatever, but interesting to see a different line choice right there than going all the way to the berm.
Yeah, I think the 450s just have enough power to get that pass made, and I think we might eventually see some different options around the track, kind of where you see that 450 power on display. But yeah, I'm hoping the way it all depends on how they lay down the tile map when they're building the track, if it will allow, no matter how many times or how high the erode is, sometimes you can't develop a rut somewhere. But really cool to see these guys trying something new, and it really opens up some moves because the 250 guys are carrying their speed around the outside, and 450 guys can at least show them a nose and put a little Deegan on them and brake check them in the corner and try to knock them down. You might need that later on in the night.
Well, we're looking to see if Brion could run the time down on Schaefer or not. They ran basically identical lap times last time by, so nothing doing there unless there's a late mistake to be had out of Austin Schaefer. Brion's still lurking in the background, though, just hoping, maybe against hope, that there's something on the table here. Look at, I mean, it's tightening up a little bit, I guess. It's down to about 4 seconds. Schaefer maybe putting it in cruise control a little bit. Speaking of cruise control, this man out front, Caden Pankow, on his way to picking up the LCQ win. I think we saw this a week ago in St. Louis as well. He definitely looked solid there, going right through into the motos, and was even kind of in the mix in the first moto as well before a crash sent him back. But back at it with a vengeance here in Las Vegas, gets out front, avoids all the chaos, and Caden Pankow is going to win the final LCQ of 2025 here at Las Vegas. Austin Schaefer, with 1 turn to go, survived a lot of chaos in this race to make it through, and he will solidify his name amongst the 22 riders going through. Brion 2.8 down at the flag. We'll see if cuts factor in at all. Devin Davis over the line in 4th. He's going home early. Reed Young, B-Lars, Pachone, Rockefeller, Valentine, Langstrup, Novak, Smith, Devin Johnson all did not finish this race.
Quitters.
So a lot of guys calling it early. B-Lars even down right here before the flag.
I know. Must have been sending it too hard. Sent her a little too hard there, bud. But I love the 450 races, man. They're so insane. Just a little bit higher speeds. Let's see if anything changes. He's not the last one across the line with cuts. There's a bunch of other dudes way back here. Yeah. Still battling. Rockefeller trying to make some passes. 4 dudes right here still in the battle. Runs
the UFO got in the way.
The UFO. We are in Vegas, though. Got a couple of them out there.
Pachone looks like he'll be the last guy across, and it stays the same. Actually, the gap was pretty much the exact same as well. So looks like maybe a little bit of cuts there for the 762 really hampered him, as the 34 had about half second, and then Brion 1.17. So tough break for those guys, but it is Pankow and Schaefer going through to the motos.
Yeah, I was hoping those cuts would go the different way for him there, but still coming up just short. And honestly, Kellen, we've seen a lot of good starts from these LCQ qualifiers in the main events for the last 2 rounds. So maybe we'll see something. This start is insane. Going off the grate, down the hill, trying not to loop out. Then while it's shrinking, you're going over 2 big humps into this left-hander that turns, kinks back again. It's like a little 90, a 45 kink, and a 45 right. There's just so much going on just until you get, and then you're going through rollers next to each other, so you got guys getting out of shape. I think if you make it to that right-hand 180 with the inside line there, and you're anywhere not on the ground, I think you are happy.
Yeah,
and
I'd have to imagine so, right? Like
we just seen so much carnage, and I'm like, when there's pressure on the line, there's a full gate. What are we gonna see? But there's just so many different like options too. If you get a good drive, maybe you get someone cut over on you on the hump, or I don't know, man. It's gonna be intense. The starts here tonight. I think that's gonna be a big thing. Shout out Jay-Z Media Co. in YouTube chat. $20 for the 2 blimps. That's $10 a blimp, Kellen.
I mean, you know what? Whatever you got to do to get the blimps some coverage, but I appreciate it so much, Jay-Z. Crushed it in that LCQ, making it through. And now we get to see what he does in the 250 main events coming up. 250 Moto 1 on the gate, ready to go. And look at that. It is nighttime here in Las Vegas. It is time to drop the gate in the evening program, 2-moto format if you haven't been with us before. 20 minutes plus a lap, similar to a 450 Supercross main event. We do it twice, and we do it for both classes, and we will crown 2 champions by the end of the night. Who have you got? Who do you think is actually going to win this first moto to set the tone going into Moto 2?
Cassius
Woods, baby. Cash money.
I don't know. Braden Tharp is really good at outdoors, though. There's a lot of ruts, a lot of fast sections. I'm going Cash Woods all the way. Kellen, I want to know who your pick is.
You know what? I like Jackson Vick. I like what he did last week. I think he gets off the gate well and gets the lead and gets out front and makes it a little bit more difficult for these guys to figure it all out. All right, here we go. It is time to drop the gate here in Moto number 1 of the 250s as the 30 card is sideways. The revs are up. Let's go racing in Las Vegas.
Red flag, maybe?
Red
2 people
flag,
jump the gate?
Several guys jumped the gate. It is not red flag conditions, though, so a lot of guys are stuck back there. And I saw the red plate of Cash Woods get there first, but Ryan Chelsea gets across the line to take the whole shot. Cheesecake out front.
Yeah, Cheesecake Chelsea has so many fans out there. You know they're excited to see this early on, but the red number plate of the number 23, Braden Tharp, is not who you want to see right behind him, Kellen. And I think what everyone's kind of wondering is, where is Cash Woods? Where is everyone else? Wait, what? Oh my God, Cash Woods has the red plate. Kellen didn't even cut me off. This is toxic.
I was trying to see if you fix it yourself, but that's okay. We'll get there when it's time. But Cash Woods is in the 2 spots, so it's Chelsea from Woods, Stevenson, Nerona, and Holt inside of the top 5. Where is the number 1 seed coming in? Braden Tharp, 17th right now at the end of 1 lap. So let's see what happens with his charge through the field. He's got a lot of time to do it, but he's got the heavy hitters out front. Now, if you're Cash Woods right here, do you try to settle in and get a pace going, or do you want to go right to the lead?
Nah, settle in and keep it on 2 wheels in the early stages. Honestly, I feel like that's a commentator's curse. He's back in 17th after I got all excited for him to be up front. It's fair, though. To be fair, Braden Tharp's had the red plate what feels like for the last 12 months. So, yeah, but I think Cash Woods right now, settle in, get a couple laps down. Look how close the guys are behind him. You make one mistake, you're going to be back in 10th. 10th place is only 8 seconds off the lead, so keep it on 2 wheels and try to separate yourselves from the pack. If you make the pass in that time, take it.
Yeah, the freight train at the front is hitting, and it looks like Cash Woods likes to have a piece at the lead if he can fancy it. Ryan Chelsea holds it down up the inside. Cash Woods hooks that inside rut, but not close enough just yet as Chelsea fires back and gets the lead to complete lap number 2, the first official full lap of the race. Done and dusted. It's Chelsea, Woods, Stevenson, 1, 2, 3, then a gap to Nerona. Holtzy's up here as well. He factors in tonight for a championship. And the Rasta man, Cody Branson, rounding out actually our top 6. He's behind Holtzy, who's inside of the top 5. So good to see that. But man, oh man, this action up front is insane. Look at Cash Woods going for it.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are absolutely sending it. I think with just a little bit more time on the track, they're getting more comfortable in that sand section. As a dirty turn down right there over the tunnel jump. They're just sending, you can just tell they're getting more comfortable with where the braking bumps are in these ruts, able to kind of find their flow and double through some of these sections. That's how you're going to go fast in a sandy, bumpy section. But look at this. Cash Woods tried to take a peek up the inside. Chelsea cuts him off.
This is a close battle at the front of the field, and Hayden Stevenson's lurking back there, rubbing his hands together, hoping these guys actually start fighting as Chelsea lays it down over the tunnel jump. A fantastic shot there of our 2 leaders laying it over for the crowd. Chelsea, though, just good defensive riding right now, hitting his marks, making it tough for Cash Woods. Now, we have already talked a little bit about passing opportunities on this track. Seems pretty one line so far. It will change as the race goes on, but where could Cash Woods make it happen?
Ooh, I think he looks to be a little bit better in these tight sections after the finish line from the sand outside the stadium. And then I think he has just been a little bit kind of suppressed by the trying to make moves with some one line sections when they first get out there. So I think the outdoor sections, he looks a little bit better than Cheesecake Chelsea, but Chelsea's gets the style points at least. He's got some sick ass style with his whips and scrubs, but a little bit different line there from Cash Woods as well. Got some action here.
Yeah, and also Chelsea, for those that play MX Bikes on the regular, known as Washed in MX Bikes, and he is a ripper. He flies in MX Bikes, has won races in MX Bikes as well this year, so maybe the best crossover player that we have in the world right now when it comes to both of those games, and cool to see him being as solid as he is in MX Sim. But the battle for the lead just continues. Cash Woods relentless in his pursuit. Let's go on board and see what he's seeing, because it is close. These guys are running 129s on top of each other.
Yeah, and he did have the fastest lap of the race through the first lap or two until Dylan Delaire put something down. Cash Woods going a little bit more outside here, long, but landing on that front like we talked about earlier. See what happens, Kellen. I think he might start to get a little bit worried if he can't get by him, if he doesn't have the speed and you see some of the guys behind him start to get closer. But trying some alternate lines I've seen. So if you just get a good drive here, though, through one of these sections, you can maybe throw in a wheel. I think he can make something happen because there's so much back and forth here in the Supercross section.
Well, interesting changeup right there. He had been going to that inside rut, and it looked like it was maybe going to be his little chip in the hat, if you will, to try to make a pass happen on Chelsea. Follows him to the outside right there this time by, though, and even trying a couple different options. Maybe look at this, cutting across, just getting out of the ruts early, going over the table so it's a little bit cleaner. So he's already maybe starting to play around. I wonder if he feels comfortable enough with his speed that he could let Chelsea even open that gap back up, because as soon as he gets everything figured out, he'll close it down quick.
Yeah, I like that over the table line, just smoothing it up a little bit, not have to struggle with your seat balance getting off. But I don't know. I don't really see anything that separates him, but that wasn't his cleanest lap right there. It's just you got to clean up some of the small mistakes and bobbles, because as this track develops, gets a little bit more rough, these outdoor sections are going to start unsettling your suspension just a little bit. I do think that sand section inside is a sneaky spot where if you get it just half clean, there's potential for a really big mistake there with the way those guys are jumping through it and doubling through rhythm sections. It reminds me of Southwick.
Braden Tharp update for those wondering in chat right now. Still in 16th, actually up to 15th place now. He just got around Rogan McIntosh. Not running very good laps, though, and he is already 40-plus seconds behind our lead group out front right now. So he is going to need almost a miracle in this Moto to even stay within a fight heading into Moto 2. Obviously looking the way of Cash Woods right now, but with those triple points online, heck, even guys like Chelsea or Dylan Delaire, who sits in 4th, they could still win this thing with a better second moto score, get that overall win in their favor. And Chelsea actually maybe starting to open it up. And as I say that, he gets sideways, shorts the table, and we are back to mono-y-mono. Oh, no, off the track goes Cash Woods, almost into the pole.
Yeah, if he hit that pole, he would have been off the bike for sure. Would have lost 8 to 10 seconds there. See, small mistake right there. He's not able to capitalize. Gets a little bit closer, though. Cash Woods does. Oh,
whoa!
He's stuck in the tunnel. No way. No. He's stuck in the tunnel. He had a slide out over the top,
and he can't get it backed up anymore. He's trying to actually bust through the tunnel. I think his collisions have fallen into the tunnel, and he goes from battling for the lead to maybe out of this race. He's going to try to back it all the way out and see if the collisions will be kind to him as he backs off the edge of the tunnel. Oh, he might actually get stuck right here because he's going to get the front tire buried in. This is going to be a pure luck thing right here, and I think he does break free. Yes. Okay, so he goes from leading this race to falling outside of the top 10 thanks to some faulty collision files. Unfortunately, the way the game works, they're all actually spheres that he just landed on. Nothing is a straight, sharp board. So when they build a tunnel jump like that, you have to do that. But in the end, kind of his mistake. He shouldn't have shorted that jump that bad.
Yeah, that's kind of insane. But honestly, I thought he was stuck in the middle, Kellen. I was like, dang, that's a crappy glitch to get stuck in. It looks like he was right at the edge of where the dirt hits the collision, and it's impossible to get those to be 100% touching sometimes. So, man, what a bummer for him as he fell way back and even got passed by Braden Tharp. So now those guys are 11 and 12, who was 15 and 1. So Cash Woods, what seems like home free right now, but without all that does is move Dylan Delaire, who is also up inside the top 5, into the podium position for here. So top 5 in points coming into this with the triple points. Delaire is trying to keep working his way up. He had the fastest lap of the race for a while there, so he's got the speed. Man, I think, Kellen, this is starting to open this thing up, because I think the difference between Delaire and Cash Woods is not as much as you'd think.
Yeah, it's going to be close again because of the triple points, and Delaire was only 20 back going into this of Cash Woods. So if he can go win this thing and Cash Woods ends up off the podium, which is seeming unlikely, but you never know in that second moto what could happen. Delaire's going to give it everything he's got, though, and he's closed up on Hayden Stevenson, who, remember back to our first race in Charlotte just 2 weeks ago, won the first moto of this playoffs and has since had a very up and down, good race, bad race, good race kind of season in the playoffs. So now back to a good race this week to kick things off. He's going to deal with the heat from Delaire, but they might actually be pushing themselves up to Cash Woods with the speed they're putting down.
Yeah, didn't he win the first moto and then DNF the second
He
one?
did, yeah.
He quit because he was having such a bad time, and was a bad time indeed. Tonight, though, in Vegas, he's got everything coming together for him, but not where you want to be with pressure of Dylan Delaire. You can tell Dylan Delaire has a little bit more speed than him, just raw speed. Stevenson, though, more of a consistency guy out there. Reminds me of kind of Eaglin and those guys in the 450 class that we always talk about. Big small mistake by Delaire there, but look at him. One small mistake, and he's right back on his rear wheel after just putting some power to the ground. And this is tightening up very quickly up front here, Kellen.
Yeah, Cash Woods had a 132 last time by. These guys were in the 130s, 128 actually. Dylan Delaire set his personal best at a 128.5. He is all over Hayden Stevenson, and Stevenson's having to rise to the occasion to hold him back, and it's pushing them up to Cash Woods, who had that bad lap. Now, looks like Woods is able to stabilize that lead just a little bit, but as this fight for second goes on, Woods has got to be a little bit weary of it, as a mistake now from Delaire is going to open it up, but these guys are not letting the race leader go at all.
No, they are not. And a little bit spread out here now between the two, but maybe getting some breathing room is actually going to be the worst thing for Cash Woods out front, because Stevenson is going to be able to take a deep breath, starts putting down some heaters. As I say that, he lays it over. Who did that in real life? Right over the roller. Lays it down, just pushes the front consistently, and goes down. So that allows Dylan Delaire to be chasing, and these two are the closest in the championship out front, with Braden Tharp being so far back right now in the bad position. Delaire is going to be full steam ahead trying to make something happen.
Yeah, and Tharp update again, now up into 8th, so he's making progress, still about 37 seconds off the lead, but he's been putting good laps together. Really, it's this Delaire-Woods battle that we got to keep an eye on, and Woods controlling the race right now, but just jumps off the track. Little mistakes can be had here and there. We are past the halfway point, and we've hardly talked about anybody else but the leaders. So here's Woods. Stevenson gets back around Delaire after Delaire laid it down in that off-camber corner. So second and third have swapped places. Delaire still on him. Jake Spieth up in the mix. He's in 4th. He qualified well tonight. And Evan Holt still in it with a shot to win this title. Runs in 5th. Branson's right on him in 6th. Here's Leitzel 7th, and Tharp up to 8th, trying to get to 7th. Lands on Leitzel, does a 360 as Leitzel goes down. Tharp's going to get the pass done. Pure luck he didn't go down right there. That could have been way worse.
Yeah, dude, it seems like the top guys never go down when they make contact. Also, that sand getting a lot rougher. I see a lot more mistakes coming from guys jumping into it. Looks a little bit cleaner coming out, but we've seen a couple of our leaders off track, but Braden Tharp is making a lot of moves here. The problem is Braden Tharp needs to get up there and win. He doesn't need to just go up and get the top 5 to salvage points here. The way the triple points are working, and after last week's round, he needs to get up there, at least try to finish second behind Cash Woods. If he gets third, maybe if he's right behind Cash Woods and Dylan Delaire, he can be good for a 3-1 overall, try to get someone in between you. But man, Braden Tharp needs to keep moving and can't keep having the starts he's been having.
Yeah, this is going to be a long hill to climb, but he could get all the way up to even a podium with the way things are shaking out, because Woods is walking away with this lead out front. Maybe forget about this moto if you're Tharp and just try to rebound and have a better second moto and hope Woods ends up being the one that falls apart. But Spieth has moved up to second, so it's a District Designs 1-2 right now. Stevenson and Delaire got together again and went backwards again. So Delaire now 3rd, and Stevenson has dropped to 4th. Evan Holt not too far behind him now in 5th. So it's actually kind of tightening up this 2 through 5, 2 through 6 battle. If they get together, that's the best case scenario for Tharp, because that could be more and more positions he could get around.
Yeah, Cash Woods checked out by 16 seconds. He has nothing to fear right now. Yeah, you still have 7 minutes plus a lap to go, but all he has to fear right now is how quickly these guys are bunching up. We got Eli Tomac bunching technique by Jake Spieth starting to happen here. As you see in these outdoor sections, you can see they look so spread out, but it's only about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds between all of these guys. They're just at such high speed. So Braden Tharp is licking his lips right now, ready to make some passes here. And if you're Cash Woods or Dylan Delaire out front, you're going to want to see that number 23 fall back somehow with your spotters.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on where Tharp gets to. Stevenson, Delaire still fairly close together. Jake Spieth 2 seconds up the road in second. We'll go check out our leader one more time. Looks like he's rolling into that section to do the table over single option. But Cash Woods putting it in cruise control, just doing the best job that he possibly can in the lead. I mean, obviously, he's done the work so far to get into this position in the first place, and now he's got 17 seconds in hand. Getting into some lap traffic coming up now as he is on the back end of the field. So we'll see how he navigates that. Spieth, Delaire, Stevenson, Holt, no one really close yet battle-wise. And Tharp still trying to work his way forward, is now he's about 25 seconds off of second place, and that was a bad lap right there for Tharp. So it's maybe not going his way at this point.
Yeah, he's got I just say consistency, but he needs consistency and speed with the kind of hole he's dug himself back into after he looked like he was just going to be taking this thing all the way to the top. But yeah, he's just a couple small mistakes by himself, and it's really hurting him early on because some of these other guys are settling in right now. So not the round that he wanted, and it all comes down to the starts, Kellen. For me, he's just hasn't been consistent enough on him.
Hasn't been consistent enough, but as you mentioned with the starts, it just takes a bad Cash Woods start in Moto2 to really flip the tides in this thing. We saw some crazy overall scores get on the podium last week, and Woods picking up a win in this obviously helps his case, but, a 114, something crazy, and then Tharp goes 8-1, 7-1, whatever it is. That's obviously a win in this case with how the overall scores could flip. And I think if you're Tharp, that's all you got to be thinking about at this point. Get through this moto, get as many points as possible, and focus on Moto 2.
Yeah, I agree. Delaire, though, is going to be his next problem because now there's two guys. Cash Woods needs just one person between him would be enough, he doesn't even need. No, he needs one person between him. So that's where
Tharp does, yeah.
Yeah, Tharp needs to win and have one person between them. But Delaire is only like 9 points ahead of Braden Tharp. So if Cash Woods has a bad one, Delaire goes 3-1, then he could just be taking this home easily if those guys, have bad motos. So I don't know. I think everyone needs to push and get as high as they can in this first one. You can't just pray that someone has a bad second moto. You got to try to be in control of your own destiny.
Yeah, well, definitely Delaire is pushing. He is caught back up to Jake Spieth. They're now about to battle for second. They've actually slowly brought the gap down to Cash Woods. It's about 3 seconds closer than it was when we last checked in, down to a 14-second gap up to the leader. And I saw Woods in the background just case the table on, so it's going to come down even more. Now, if you're Jake Spieth right here, you are slightly in this fight to try to win this championship, a little bit ways back. But your teammate Cash Woods is definitely in it, and, obviously Tharp, his other teammate. How much does Spieth play a team game, if at all, here? Or do you think he's out for himself?
Depends on how good of friends they are. I feel like the team game don't really matter that much, but if they're good friends, I think you might go ahead and let him, but only if he gets close to you. I don't think you're moving out of second place to drop back and let him get fourth, from you just for one more spot. But I think maybe if it gets late in the race and he's really close, then you let someone go. But I mean, everyone's on district designs though, so it's like I don't know. I feel like there's not too many team tactics you could play.
Yeah, I guess maybe they're in a way all out for themselves, right? They just like the skins. Maybe they don't really even all hang out in Discord. But I just always thought that the team dynamic was that way. That's just how it was obviously when we raced, there's everyone that's on the same team hanging out in the same Discord, but maybe it's a bit different now. Never quite know. Looks like Dallaire has lost a little bit of ground to Speed. Speed, meanwhile, gained 5 seconds on Woods that last time by. Stevenson, pirouettes. He's in 4th, and crucially, he is the next rider on Tharp's list. Tharp has made it all the way into the top 5. Looks like Holt and who else was up there had a bad one. Man, someone dropped way back because they were definitely in the mix and have lost quite a bit of time. So, yeah, Holt, a bad one. Tharp up inside of the top 5, and he's not that far behind Stevenson now, about 7 seconds. We got a minute and a half plus a lap still to go, so it's maybe out of reach, but 4th could be huge here for Tharp.
Yeah, 4th could be big for him. I mean, every point matters. I think you've got spoilers of Stevenson, and I mean, Dallaire's not on your team, but the thing I was thinking about with Spieskellen is like, if you help out Tharp, you're just hurting Cash Woods, who's also your teammate. So it's like, then maybe are you friends with one and not the other? But on the Dizrick Designs. Dizrick.
Dirick.
Oh, I was trying to come up with another one.
Okay.
Rick Dixons.
Okay.
I don't know.
We're on one.
Sorry.
As Tharp is still cruising around here 6 seconds back. Looks like Dallaire had another crash because now he is right in front of Stevenson. So now Dallaire maybe a bit on the struggle bus, falling back into the clutches of these guys. And hey, Stevenson and Dallaire, what if they get together? They may end up having, themselves slow down just enough to allow Tharp to get back into the picture. There's still a lot to play for in these final 2 or so laps of the race. Let's actually check in with our leader, Cash Woods, again. 11-second lead. And we're coming to, it's going to be 2 to go still because he's going to get around in the next 20 seconds. There's 20 seconds on the clock, but I think he's going to get there to the flag. It's going to be pretty close.
If he's, I wait if there's like 3 seconds.
No, it's more than that. It's 4 or 6, 5. So 5 left on the clock as he crosses over the line and just goes for it. Jake Spieth still dealing with a little bit of lap traffic back here, 10 seconds back. And it's going to be tough for him because they're fighting each other, trying to get some good points, and they're just not moving out of the way. Jake Spieth is begging these guys to move. They get into each other. He's reading that nicely, cuts underneath, and finally off to the side of the track they go. So here's Dallaire, Stevenson, and now Tharp can see Stevenson going over the line in front of him. It's down to 3 seconds. A 26.7 qualifying lap level stuff out of Braden Tharp as he's up in the ante. I think he can smell a podium in this moto.
Yeah, that is actually insane. And yeah, you've got to. If you got 2 laps to go, you got to get on your horse, especially when they're so close. You only got 2 seconds back. Get this lapper out of the way and keep moving forward. Only cost him half a second there, but keep your head on your shoulders, maybe a full second now. Get on this thing. This is gnarly. The 250 guys sending it. The 450 guys go 1 jump longer, which is pretty cool. Just seeing the power difference right here. I'm a little disappointed with how one line this outdoor section has been. I feel like, especially post-race, you got to even this out, but, I digress. Good racing still from these guys. Just would like to see some more passes out here. I feel like the last year we saw the championship winning pass happen outside. Over the bars is Tharp. He keeps it on 2 wheels. You could see a double whip from a mile away if you played sim for long enough. And man, barely holds on to that.
Stevenson is still right in front of him, and Dallaire 3 seconds up the road. Tharp is just begging at least one of these guys to fall or something happen that he can make this pass as the white flag waves for your leader Woods out front. Spieth now down to 7.6 back, so it could be close. It could be pretty tight at the end if Woods makes one more mistake with his teammate Spieth getting up there. Lappers get into the side of these two as they battle it out for 4th. Stevenson versus Tharp over the finish line jump. Tharp jumps off the track. That could be a critical mistake as Stevenson gets a bit of breathing room. Dallaire is just trying to get away from these guys up in 3rd. Tharp is still throwing caution to the wind, jumping off the track in the background. A little mistake from Stevenson. It's just so tricky on this track.
Dang, Spieth smelt blood in the water. It was up to 7 seconds. He went down, so now maybe went down twice. Wait, he's going to be back in the middle of this battle now. Dylan Dallaire up into 2nd. Jake Spieth 3rd. Stevenson 4th. Now it's like a 4-way battle right here, and Tharp needs to keep sending because there's blood in the water. If any one of these guys goes down, he needs to snipe it.
Look at this. Oh, it's close. Spieth and now Tharp as Stevenson went off the track. So Spieth is in third. Tharp's trying to get around his teammate as they throw almost dualies over that double. And Stevenson just lurking there in the background. Spieth goes down. Tharp goes by. And Spieth almost takes out Stevenson with him. So Tharp has gotten all the way back to third. Still has a shot at second. Meanwhile, Cash Woods does the job in Moto 1. He takes Moto 1 here at the finals in Las Vegas. Dallaire trying to keep Tharp behind him. Tharp, I cannot believe he's gotten all the way back to third, but I think that's as far as he'll get. Dallaire is trying to hold this on.
Yeah, he should be able to ride this thing home after Jake Spieth exploded himself on that rut, able to take this thing home in second. But man, every position that Braden Tharp got late right there, you don't want to give away. He goes down. Stevenson goes by. Stevenson's gonna take the position away, and all that fighting you did.
He's gonna get fourth in the moto.
Just ahead of Spieth, though.
With Spieth right behind him. And, man, that actually could come down to cuts with how close it was. Jackson Vick, by the way, who won the second moto last week, has been invisible this moto, but finally breaks through into sixth late in this race. Evan Holtz slipped back to seventh. He was up there early on, but a few mistakes hindered him. Ben Nerona, eighth. Jacob Arnbrister from the LCQ, ninth. And Cody Wells quietly looks like he'll round out the top 10. Ryan Chelsea, after that dramatic getting stuck on the tunnel jump, is 11th. Was that a pass right there? Yeah, Nerona was down, so he'll end up in 10th. Little free gift there at the end. The game giveth and taketh away, but it definitely took a lot away from Chelsea in this one.
Yeah, Cheesecake had one of the best starts we'd seen in a while and was cruising up front, putting down some good speed, good style with another big whip there at the end. Barely holds on to her and takes this thing home way worse than he wanted to, but hey, we got a top 10 out of it. Man, crazy racing here from such big gaps coming down to the end. I thought Cash Woods was going to be under pressure. Let's see what got shaken up, if anything.
It looks like it stayed the same. Tharp holds on for fourth over Spieth by 0.8, but does get fourth. Stevenson third. Dallaire second, but Cash Woods gets the win and definitely sets himself up very well for that last moto. We'll see how it all shakes down. And before we do that, though, we have got to roll into our first 450 moto of the night. 450 Moto 1 coming up, and Seth Carr looking to try to lock this down, maybe with a win in this race, could really almost put it on ice after that.
Yeah, it's we'd have to look how close. Well, points are close enough. There's a chance if he gets first, he could almost DNF and still win this thing with how big the points are. 43 points, I think, is the gap back to second place. Triple points, guys, that's a lot.
75 on table.
That's a lot. 75 on the table, so you only got to 10-10 probably bring this thing home no matter who wins. But yeah, going to be a little bit less interesting championship-wise, but I do still think we're going to see some great racing. Some of these riders want to go out on top, want to move themselves up. It feels like it's wide open at the front now for a lot of these guys that were floating from, maybe 4th to 10th. So they're going to try to go out, have a career ride out there and put some points on the board and see if they can move up maybe in the podium spot for the SMX playoffs here.
Yeah, absolutely. As we get ready for 450 Moto 1 coming to the gate. And really, we're just looking for a good race here. These championships, again, almost decided in the 450 class already with the way things have shaken down. Obviously, Seth Carr in a really, really good position to get it done. We'll update you guys on the math as it goes. But a lot of names out here that certainly would like to end their season with a win or a very good run. Pablo Vial, Noah Bindis, Alec Horn, John Heilman, Ash Deering, you name it, they are here ready to do battle. And keep an eye on where your favorite racer is running by checking out the top of the screen as we go into the motos here in just a moment. Thanks for tuning in again to the finals of the MX Simulator season for 2025 live here on Start Your Systems TV. Kellen Brower in the booth alongside Andrew Wood bringing the action.
Hello.
And we are ready to drop the gate on 450 Moto number 1. Just waiting for, I think, someone else to load in real quick. Surprisingly, not me. And it is go time. So let's see what happens off this start. It has been tricky in these LCQs and that first 250 moto to get a good jump and hold it into the first turn. Those two rollers really starting to bite, guys, as they come down the hill. Where will the start come from? Who gets up the inside and sneaks away with the hole shot? 30 card about to go up. We are lined up on the gate. We are ready to go. And let's see if we can find someone more middle of the gate to try to give us a better look going into this first corner. Seth Carr up the far inside. How about Joey Carter? He gets pretty good starts. Here we go. 450 Moto 1 in Las Vegas.
Going to keep an eye on where the start comes from for previous motos, and it came from inside or almost at the box. Seth Carr, though, sneaking up the inside, gets a great jump and takes the whole shot, trying to lead these thing around. Almost goes over the berm right there.
Look at that, and up into the lead momentarily is Joey Carter. He tries to shut the door, but Seth Carr gives him a little bit of the boot and moves back into the lead. So it is Carr over Carter, Schiabro, Horn, Heilman, the top 5 as they come across on lap number 1. But this is exactly how Seth Carr drew it up. Get the lead, just try to go win this moto, and pretty much just put this thing to bed before we even roll into Moto 2.
Yeah, exactly what everyone else in this race did not want to see just happened. Joey Carter, great start, made a small bobble there, still holding on to second. But Seth Carr is... Kellen, how big of a gap do you think Seth Carr is going to win by this moto?
Well, he's been a little hit and miss the last couple weeks, but I think we're looking at about 30 seconds. What do you think?
I was going to go 42.
I could see 42.
As Kellen, 1942. Great year.
Yes.
Not really, actually.
Not really, yeah. Sorry, I had to open the window. A little hot in the room here. But yeah, Carr getting away. Joey Carter under the clutches now of Jeremy Schiabro, Alec Horn, John Heilman right there as well. As, yeah, they throw dualies over the tunnel jump. But Carter, the good starts are coming through. But honestly, I'm surprised the speed not really there just yet for Joey Carter, as we almost had a block pass attempt. Schiabro defensive on Alec Horn. And Schiabro also been up in the mix here as well. They've been really good in this 450 class.
Yeah, they have. It's actually insane how good of starts Joey Carter is. Consistent. I wish he'd find just a little bit more speed on the racetrack to be a little bit more competitive, because I think if he keeps his starts like this and can find just a little bit more pace, he's going to be a problem in this 450 class. But already a breakout year for him. It's been awesome to watch him do it. But you got Jeremy Schiabro and Alec Horn. Behind you is Schiabro, pushes the front. So that's going to be Horn that moves through. John Heilman, Xander Brion, Wyatt Grant. A bunch of people we've seen and talked about all night long going to fly past Schiabro. Ooh. That is what you don't want to do, is go down on the second lap of a race.
Yeah, and Cooper Hunt gets by as a couple of guys were down right there. Brion looks like he's getting up maybe with Heilman. Yeah, Heilman was down as well. Cooper Hunt won the second moto last week in St. Louis in the 450 class as well. So he at least factors in for a chance at doing some damage here tonight. Maybe not for the title, but get into the top 5 or top 3 when all is said and done. Wyatt Grant showing his face up inside the top 5. He's 4th, and it's about to be 3rd, as going down is Alec Horn. And Wyatt Grant up into 3rd place on the 66.
Yeah, honestly, great move by him, and just another consistently good ride it seems like we're seeing out of him, and just the pace that he's got these days. His speed is coming around. That's awesome to see him. He's probably going to go after Joey Carter. It's a big gap right now, 6 seconds to second and then another 6 to first, but trying to hold on to that podium spot. And as things settle down a little bit here in the early goings of the race, maybe he can keep working his way forward. A little bit of pressure behind him, but as a rider, Noah Bendis slides out right there. He's going to lose 2 spots to Brion and one other rider, so you just can't let that happen there. Small slide outs even early in the race can cause you multiple positions, and Bendis is going to try to get it back if he can pretty soon.
Yeah, it's not just those fall-off crashes. Those pesky little mistakes can also bite you, especially in the 450 class where everybody is so consistent and so fast. So Brion goes by. Hey, Cooper Hunt's up here. He's now 4th. Again, winner of the second moto last week. Last time we left you, he was on the top step leaving in St. Louis, so he factors in as well. Joey Carter all by himself in second place. And speaking of all by himself, running ridiculous laps out front, 26 flat. Seth Carr is laying it down. Let's go on board with him and see what he's doing, because that is insane this early into the race.
Yeah, the way they're low-lining that jump makes me think there's not a timing gate there. But, which a lot of these guys do look at some of that stuff when there's a line like that. Honestly, Kellen, what he's doing right here is carrying insane corner speed everywhere, even early in the race. The way he's able to get this lean angle, he's got so much roll speed and can just carry that traction. Even in these 90s, he'll jump into it and lean it over right away, get on the throttle nice and smooth, where if you just hammer on the throttle, you're going to spin that 450 out like we saw from Bendis last lap around. But it's just corner speed between these guys. Not too much different in any of these rhythms. And luckily in this track, there's so many tight corners. A 26.2 almost goes ahead and repeats. Well, I'm pretty sure would be the fastest qualifying time coming into the night show. So man, it is just absolutely insane speed. We got 15 seconds out front and less than 25% into this race. Kellen, we might have both been way off with our predictions. We could see a minute plus, maybe lap the field situation. Who knows?
I don't know about that, but he definitely put down some ridiculous stuff. And honestly, the speed that he's carrying out of the corner before the finish line, I almost can't believe he isn't tripling onto that table before the finish line jump with how much corner speed he has. It's just incredible to watch him work, and you got to see basically a full lap on board with him. Wyatt Grant now up into second place, a 27.6 of his own now in P2, a very solid performance as well as he's trying to mix it up. Cooper Hunt now to third, Bendis in fourth, and Carter looks like he fell. He is back to fifth place. So then we got Brion, and then we got Heilman and Seth Shirley, who is one of those guys that factors in to try to win this title tonight, but so far not off to a good start for the 44.
Yeah, I think the two closest people in the championship are Wyatt Grant and Seth Shirley. I think it's 43 and 44 points behind 44 at Shirley's own number as well. So, hey, maybe a good omen. Maybe something happens. You never know. Doolies. Seth Shirley, though, coming in, trying to make some moves here, but he's got a lot to make right now. He's battling for 7th place right here up the inside. Kellen, we are starting to see this again. If that rut develops, that is going to be a faster line. He already made the pass without a rut developing, so he goes outside, he jumps past Brion, makes 2 passes right there and 2 corners back to back. Shirley up into 6th. What an amazing couple corners right there, and he's only 4 seconds back off of Joey Carter ahead of him. So keep it on 2 wheels, keep it smooth, and hey, you could find yourself back or up there in a 3rd position, chasing down Wyatt Grant and all 3 of the guys that are kind of in the championship, not in the championship, all on the podium this first moto.
Yeah, and like you said, in the event of anything could happen, look, we saw in Supercross, I'm not saying it will happen, but Braden Carter and Colby Eaglin going at it for the Supercross title, and Carter wasn't in position to win it, but he was very close, and his game crashed with 5 minutes to go in the main event. So not saying that's going to happen, but you just never know in MX Simulator. And if you're Seth Carr, you just got to hope that there's not some weird game bug, or maybe you do it in the first moto we saw happen to Chelsea, right? Get stuck on the tunnel jump, and then you get stuck for a minute and a half or something trying to get out of there. Obviously a bad situation there. Meanwhile, change for second is on. Wyatt Grant has been passed. Cooper Hunt has made that move into P2. Grant tried to fight back, but Cooper Hunt looks like he's on the charge.
Yeah, Grant no longer happy living the now for the moment being. Cooper Hunt makes a nice move past him. It had to be a small mistake right there from Grant. We switched just as the pass was being made, but Cooper Hunt's been showing some good speed up here too. When they both made the pass on Joey Carter when he crashed, they had almost matching lap times, only 1/10 apart from each other. So similar pace from these two up front. I think it's really just going to be who can keep it together and make small mistakes. You know, you're not going to see one person just throw down insane lap times and kind of start pulling away. It's not that big of a mismatch, but that's going to bring some great racing as we see Wyatt Grant jump over, get high centered on this inside rut right there, and that's actually going to bring some pressure from behind from Noah Bendis, trying to give him the business as we got pressure from multiple riders behind him.
Yeah, we got Bendis, we have got the 83 of Joey Carter back in the mix as well, so 3, 4, 5 all on your screen right here as they're jumping into view, and it is getting tight in this battle for the final podium spot. So Grant holds it, Bendis right there, and it seems like Wyatt Grant, who looked a little bit more comfortable early on, maybe the track getting a little bit worn down is starting to bite him, because Bendis looks way more comfortable than when we saw him getting a little bit riley on the first couple of laps. Now he's settled in and he looks like he wants P3. Yeah,
he's got some speed, man. It's Grant's got some style, though. Takes after his dad right there, throwing it. All you see is drain bolt, but Bendis is showing some speed. Is he a little too loose, though, Kellen? I don't know. It's crazy because you can see some riders that have top speed and they just look so planted, like Seth Carr out front. But then you see some riders,
Bendis down.
Huge crash by himself, stepping off of that, exiting the section. Weird spot to crash, honestly, on your own. But you can just see some guys, they have speed, but they're just a little sketchy out there, a little too light on the bike, floating around as he's got pressure from his rear again now.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if Bindis almost like clipped the second tabletop and then lost drive and went over the bars onto the single out right there, because you're right, that was a very awkward and kind of weird spot to go down. Sets us up for a good battle now for fourth, though. Joey Carter has Seth Shirley on his heels, and we've seen Shirley just slowly working his way into the mix. Kind of what he does, though, steady, the consistency, a very strong suit of Seth Shirley over the years. The start's not there again this week, but finding himself in a position to at least battle for a podium right now.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, a lot of these guys stepping up here late in the SMX playoffs, they get excited by those triple points right now. Joey Carter, after his great start, trying to pull away, but Seth Shirley's not someone you want on your rear end as he jumps to the inside. Dooley's first legit side-by-sides of the night. Oh, Joey Carter pushes too much, slides his rear end out, eats crap on that rut like we saw earlier from Jake Spieth. And that allows multiple riders to go down. Shirley is on the move towards the front, Kellen, all the way up into P4. Now he's chasing down Wyatt Grant. And let's see. Oh, Wyatt is down.
Oh no, on the outside right there, it looks like he may have either lost the front over mid-corner or rear on entry and slid off the top of the berm. So he slides back to fourth place, but still holding on to a good position as Bindis gets back onto his rear fender. So Shirley's now made it all the way up to third. And again, the progress continues. Now, Seth Carr definitely has this thing pretty well under wraps in the race lead, but Shirley putting himself in position to do something, and never mind. Seth Carr down. It was 19 seconds. It's going to be down to about 10 as Cooper Hunt comes over the tunnel jump in the background, and Carr maybe not as far gone as we thought he would be.
Yeah, I was saying our predictions were going to be wildly off for that, and as I looked at the timing and scoring, he was, already lost some time and then falls right on your screen there. So Cooper Hunt maybe smelling some blood in the water, want to go out. Not going to be able to win this championship, but always feels good to go out with a win, even if it's just one of these two motos. And when it's against someone who has won every single race so far, this SMX playoffs, it's pretty nice to go out there and take a moto win.
Yeah, so Cooper Hunt now closes the gap down to 11 seconds, and Seth Carr maybe got to start thinking about that just a little bit as Seth Shirley jumps down in third. Brion got around his teammate Grant, who slipped back a little bit. He's now fourth. Joey Carter fifth. Alec Horn back into the sixth spot, so good run for him. And Grant back to seventh. So a couple mistakes have really cost Wyatt Grant these last few laps. Still in it with a shot to battle for at least fourth place amongst these guys. And how about Brion again out of the LCQ into fourth place and just fighting with these guys like he's been in the top 20 all season long?
It makes me forget that he comes from the LCQ because he's shown so much speed. Every time he makes it, he's out here just battling, just absolutely shredding. But, I mean, battle developing behind him, though. Wyatt Grant trying to push up on Alec Horn, who's had a great ride, too, was kind of quiet. Wyatt Grant must have lost touch a little bit there because he was right on the rear end. But, man, Alec Horn having a great showing. A lot of these guys kind of coming out of the woodwork. And I think what's cool is we are missing three of the top four racers here this round, but it's giving other riders, letting them have their time to shine, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's good to see some other faces up here than we normally see. I mean, look, we have no Colby Eagland here tonight. Again, the Supercross champ didn't even race this one. So I think all these guys, the top guys, really knew, hey, this is Seth Carr's championship. We're ready to move on. It's off-season time, and we'll see some of these guys back next season. But we'll also see some of these faces like Cooper Hunt and Xander Brion, Alec Horn. They are continuing to get better, of course, as is Seth Shirley, and they would like to do something about that 2026 Supercross title coming up soon if we see that coming to fruition again. So these guys want to battle. They want to go try to win these races, and maybe the conceding of just letting Seth Carr get the job done is where it's at now, and the fight for second is really all that's on the table.
Yeah, pretty much. Does it smell like skunk?
I smell like garlic bread, honestly.
Or it's my mic, which is bad if the skunk, because it's my mic that I talk into. If that smells like skunk, that's bad news. But something that smells like burning PC, garlic bread, I don't know. There's all sorts of smells coming into this room right now, but that's what happens when you got the window open in SoCal.
It was hot, man. It was hot.
It's hot out here. But man, Seth Carr, look at that low line. There's got to be no cuts, I've decided, because he's just hitting it over and over. But hey, man, take what you can get. If the track allows you, those they're just suggestions, the track markers. It's really all about where the timing gates are.
Yeah, I mean, he's just figured it out, right? Oh, as he lands on a lapper, barrel rolls out of it. I don't know how he just landed that, but I guess when it's your year, it is your year. It's not my PC. There's no way. Yeah, no, calm down. It's from the window. Someone's cooking some garlic bread.
It smells like
in my front
copper
yard
wiring. That's what it smells like. That's why I got scared.
Dude, it smells like garlic bread. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway,
garlic bread.
When it's your year, it is your year. And Seth Carr, I guess, just proving it right there. Hey, it doesn't matter if you land on a lap or 13 seconds in the lead of the finals. Just barrel roll out of it and continue on your way.
I told you, these top guys, they never fall. You see it all the time. You can jump into someone, and I'm convinced, low key, that they figured out some sort of technique to not fall off. Technique, not cheating.
Hey, never mind.
There, blows his ass off.
He almost rode out of that though.
He really did. It was pretty close.
Looks like his teammate going by, just giving him a little bit of a high five right there. No, that was not Cooper Hunt. Cooper Hunt went down again or something, because it was 11 seconds and now it's 17.
It was a teammate though.
It's going to come down to 8 seconds now. Again, as we see these gaps trying to stabilize a little bit, Shirley a little bit closer. I wonder if Carr has another mistake if things really open up, but it just feels like we're slowly running out of time for any of these guys to do anything about it.
Yeah, it's 14 seconds. I don't think he's really got to have a crazy blow up, and I don't know, maybe he just knows I have this championship in the bag and he starts messing around or whatever. I mean, you're only one Moto 3. I can see this at the end of the second Moto if you start throwing whips, having fun, like getting lackadaisical. But I think you got to, for him, lock in, go out there. He doesn't want Shirley, who up to second is insane, by the way. But you don't want him coming up and taking a win from you. You want to go out there, dominate, and you can have fun at the end of second Moto if you have a big gap. But right now, he's going to lock in for these last 4 minutes plus a lap and take this thing home and show why he's the best and the champion of pretty much everything.
Well, he, of all people, knows there is no guarantees in this game. He had the 250 SMX title won last year and then crashed a bunch in the second Moto, and Rasmus Balzer stole it from him at the finals at this very place 1 year ago. But he is back. Little mistake with his teammate right there. I guess that is Squiddy giving him the business right there. And hey, suddenly Seth Shirley not that far back after that timing and scoring updates. He did get around Cooper Hunt. It's 12 seconds. Honestly, every time Carr goes down, somehow it's still 12 seconds after he gets back up. These guys just keep making too many mistakes behind him. Otherwise, we'd actually have a real battle up front by now.
He gets knocked down and he gets up again. All right, just like the song. Seth Carr, honestly, it's crazy because I think maybe it's the track. We're just on him every time we see him go down. I think this track is coming up and biting a lot of guys. It's getting a little bit more rough as we get into these 450 motos. They do chew up the track more, just like in real life. If it's your first time watching or you don't really understand or play sim, the 450s with the torque they have and the power, they do make the track deeper, braking bumps bigger, all that stuff. So maybe that, and then the fact that they're so fast, they're getting into so many lappers. He's just having the same small amount of misfortune, but everyone else is going through the same struggles that he is, and he pushes his front, goes off the berm. There's only going to be, Shirley misses this rhythm. That's a huge blessing in disguise. It probably could have got down to 3 or 4 seconds right there with that crash, but Seth Shirley unable to capitalize on that big mistake.
Let me guess. It's going to be 12 seconds again. No, it's down to 8.2. 10 back to Cooper Hunt.
Cooper Hunt, though, close, too.
Yeah, Cooper Hunt close. He was on Seth, and then, again, another gap. So these guys are, I don't know if it's lapper problems or they just keep being inconsistent with the track being the way it is. Squiddy and a lapper getting together right there. But I'm just genuinely surprised there's not a little bit more consistency out of these guys to keep it close. As again, another mistake for Seth Carr. How many times have we seen him make a mistake or crash and he's still in the race lead?
At least 5, and that's crazy because he's done it when we know from when we haven't had the camera on him. So with the fact that we've been following and seen so many, it just got down below 10 seconds for the first time, Kellen. It's just now at 6, which is never a commanding lead because one fall-off crash can take away that 6 seconds guaranteed without a mistake. But man, it's crazy. Seth Shirley and Brion from the LCQ in the third, not giving up. It's just, this is awesome. I love seeing everyone else though, like be able to have a chance. We thought he was going to walk away from 30 plus seconds, and wow, words are hard, but yeah, this is at least a lot more interesting for us to watch. And he's going to get to the line, Kellen, with about 15 seconds to go, maybe 10. And so he is going to have to go another 2 laps. And that's not good when he's been falling as much as he has.
I know. I was wondering maybe if he was trying to wait, but he can't because Seth Shirley is too close. I mean, Shirley's going to cross with about 4 seconds still on the clock, so he wouldn't have even been able to wait for him. Yeah, like you mentioned, though, Brion up to third. Really good ride for him. Cooper Hunt has been in the mix this whole way. Wyatt Grant, Brion's teammate, inside of the top 5 as well. So these guys are really showing their face here in the final round of this championship. Joey Carter, 6th. Alec Horn, 7th. Noah Bindis, 8th. Heilman, 9th. Caden Pankow, another LCQ guy, in 10th, although he is under attack. Pablo Vial, Jeff Cooper, they're right there. They want to get up there and mix it up as well. And it's just down to the nitty gritty of this moto. We got about 2 laps still to go. Oh, Vial and Pankow just going at it side by side through the rollers to the outside for Vial. Pankow blocks the inside. Vial uses that outside to slingshot through, and he is back into a top 10 position.
Yeah, Jeff Cooper right there trying to make it a 3-way battle. I love watching these battles late in the race. 3 dudes just going at it for something that's not going to matter too much, as Cooper just slides up the inside from a small mistake right there. So Vial was trying to make those moves, made it happen, then slides all the way right back. So Pankow leading these guys around from the LCQ as well. One guy from the LCQ cruising around in 10th, the other one cruising around in 3rd. So these guys with a great showing as Pankow goes down right as I give him his flowers.
Commentator's curse
just
is absolutely brutal. All right, back to our leader we go. 1 lap left for Seth Carr to knock out the first moto win in Vegas and get 1 step closer to the MX Simulator Playoffs Championship for 2025. Seth Shirley still there in 2nd. Cooper Hunt back into 3rd, has gotten back around Brion. So just musical chairs at this point. It's like, who wants to finish 3rd? Do you want to finish 2nd? Can I give you 2nd? How about I take 2nd? No, you crashed. All right, we'll go back and forth until the checkered flag waves.
I mean, and Wyatt Grant, don't look now. Only 2 seconds back from Brion. So Hunt, Brion, all these guys 22 to 30 seconds away. So like not too far away for all the late race shenanigans we've seen. If you make one small mistake, he could lose this podium spot. But a great ride by him nonetheless in this moto. It feels like everyone's been all over the place. I feel like everyone else has been in 2nd to 10th pretty much at least once this moto.
Yeah, it's been very up and down, and now Cooper Hunt's going over the bars. Xander Brion going to go back into 3rd place, and hey, Wyatt Grant's still knocking on the door. He's going to try to sneak a podium away right at the checkered flag. Speaking of checkered flags, back up front we go. Seth Carr is down with 2 turns to go. Here comes Seth Shirley, and it's finally going to come to blows with 2 turns left. Carr goes defensive on the inside, doubles in, and it looks like he is going to save it as the checkered flag waves by less than a second as the flag waves. Carr beats Seth Shirley in Moto 1. Wyatt Grant gets by Brion on the last lap to get into 3rd. Can he hold it to the outside? Gets that rut clean. Doubles in, triples into the corner. Can he hook this rut is the question. Brion trying to get there. Wyatt Grant slides, and it's going to be Grant 3rd in the moto over the line. Brion ends up 4th, and Cooper Hunt rounds out the top 5. What a weird final lap of the race. What a weird race in general, but Carr gets the dub in the end.
I mean, the commentator's curse is real solely for the fact that you say, can he hook this rut? And he doesn't even manage to hook the rut. It's just absolutely insane. Look at Seth Carr, Bobby Big Lines out here trying to do some big lines, showing just the amazing corner speed he has. 136. So he's basically dropping 126s or crashing. That's what Seth Carr did this race. But, man, less than a second at the line. There's always a chance, Kellen. There's always a chance as our viewers look to see if anything changes at the top left of the screen in that cuts column. I know what's going to happen, but
you're trying to tell me there's a chance, and
you guys don't.
I'm
I mean, I see there's not a chance, but there's always a chance.
I'm feeling like there's no chance. I'm also feeling like there's no chance anybody else wins this title tonight, but
there's definitely no chance. I think someone needs to do the math. The closest is Wyatt Grant, 43 points.
Yeah, and obviously Seth right there as well. But like, I mean, even if they go 1-2 the next moto and Carr gets 20th, like the worst he can get is 12.
That's the thing. That
something.
A 3-1 is going to get you the overall if you're Wyatt Grant and you win, and that's going to give you 75 points straight up. So if you go 22-1,
yeah,
maybe 20 if people
you're going to get top 10 with that score. I feel like you got a moto win, probably. So
he should just not race and see if it works, and just let us have a great race for the title, and it'll all be math. We can just do math the whole time.
I would definitely not like that. I would not like to be doing math this whole race. But we do have a 250 championship about to be decided, and it is on. Can Cash Woods back up what he put down in the first moto? Incredible run for him, obviously, to win the first moto with the points lead, all the stuff that's hanging in the balance. But hey, Braden Tharp got back to fourth, and with only 11 points between them, things would really, really get wild if Tharp starts up front and Cash Woods has to do the chasing.
Yeah, I agree. I think Cash just needs to focus on the start. He's had some really good starts this whole time, so I think that's your main focus, is get off the grate and get through the first couple corners. As we've seen so much action going on early. Not too much in that last race. I mean, we saw Seth Carr get the whole shot, so I think it's just that's what we're going to be keeping an eye on. Who's coming across that whole shot line? I think it's more important now than ever.
Yeah, the whole shot will be important. One final 250 race of the year coming up. Another 20-minute plus one-lap moto on this tricky Las Vegas Strip track. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do think we are in for a really good race because I think these guys are ready to go for it. Lay it all on the line one more time to try to win.
Yeah, one more time. As they hit the track here. I mean, Dylan Dallaire, he's shown us, I think besides Tharp, he might have the most speed out here. He looks really, really good. So can't wait to see what happens here. We got 3 or 4 guys going for the title here. Let's see what happens, Kellen. This whole year has come down to this. 31 rounds. 31?
Yep.
Big math guy. 31 rounds. You went to like half of them in real life. Not to Vegas though. Sad. Don't like to party.
Nope, not going to Nations either, but we are going racing here in Las Vegas for the finals. 250 Moto 2. Let's get it. Off the start, and not a good one for Jackson Vick. More chaos going into turn 1. I didn't see if the red plate got there or not, but it is going to be Evan Holt with the whole shot this time. The 13 is out front. Looks like Arnbrister second on the 138. Ryan Chowsey, a good start. Woods is 5th. Cash Woods off to a 5th place start as everyone gets hung up in that weird single corner right there. But you can see the red plate in the background coming across the line. P5 right behind his teammate, Braden Tharp.
Yeah, I saw so many riders in the District Designs gear going down, and they were on the inside. So that is where I was holding my breath here. Great start by Holtzy, followed by Jay-Z again with a good start, and Chowsey. These guys that know how to start, they crush it. They're so consistent. Cash Woods 6th, Dylan Dallaire 7th. But right now, Holtzy trying to pull away from the pack and keep it on 2 wheels. You got to separate yourselves. I say it pretty much every goddamn race, but it is so important to keep it on 2 wheels for at least 2 laps, because you go down, you're outside the top 10, maybe the top 15 right now.
Yeah, look at Holtzy, though, nailing that section in the back, staying low on that inside single coming back across, and Arnbrister losing a little bit of touch now as it opens up to about 1 second. Tharp has gotten into 3rd place, so he is already pushing as Woods drops back to 5th, and Tharp, I think, at this point, just go try to win at all costs and hope something ridiculous happens to Cash Woods, because I don't think, even if you're Tharp and you want to, I don't know, bunching technique, do some Deegan tactics, whatever it is, I just don't think it's going to work, right?
I don't think so. I think there's no Deegan technique you could do, because should it failed in real life, it's going to fail for sure here. You got to put him over the berm, but it's got to be like once or twice at the beginning of the race, and then once late in the race if he gets up, but it spreads out so much, and you got to do all that without going down yourself. and I think it's just too inconsistent to do that. I think what you do, you go out front, you try to pull away as fast as possible from these guys, win it by 45 seconds, and maybe you put on pressure of, hey guys, Braden Tharp is checked out by a minute. You got to get up there, and maybe then they ride over their heads. But I think that's the only thing you can do, because taking out people in this game, just you can't guarantee you're not going to take yourself out.
Wow, so Tharp makes a nice pass there on Arnbrister to get into second. Next up, his teammate, Evan Holt, to try to get into the race lead. We saw Tharp come from outside of the top 15 all the way back to fourth. He was actually third in the first moto at one point and then crashed it away late. So you have to imagine he's feeling pretty confident about his speed on this track, about the ability to make passes as well, as he tries to eye down his teammate at the front of the field. Let's go back to the man of the day right now, and it's looking a little bit worse now for Cash Woods. He slipped outside of the top 10. He's back to 14th. So something is going on with Cash Woods after starting inside of the top 5. He's made a couple mistakes, and now the pressure's really on.
Yeah, big crash. I think he was trying to make a pass on Dylan Delaire back there and maybe just had something happen. Look at him trying to go up the inside. He wants to force the issue, but I think for him, you got to just take a deep breath. And this is such a long race, and you have the advantage here. All you need to do is try to get close, but it's so tricky because it's hard for them to do the math while they're riding. So you got to have friends that are really good at doing the math. Not common in a dirt bike community. But trying to update you every position you need as he's making a move up the inside. Nice move right there over the finish line. That's going to help out a little bit more and ease the nerves just a tiny bit.
Yep, Caden Kepke getting past. That moves him up into 13th. Next up would be Jared Gummison. So he is really trying to lock this down as Jackson Vick up ahead of Gummison, Cody Branson, Jake Spies, Killian Ortiz. These are big names, people. Cody Wells, Emmanuel Cepeda, guys that have won races this year. Of course, Dylan Delaire was fast. Ryan Chowsey arguably could have had the speed to win the first moto, but got stuck on the tunnel jump. Then you got Arnbrister, Tharp, and Holt. So some big names that Woods has got to go through. And especially if Tharp gets into the lead, that 4-1 looks awful comfy for the overall win and puts a ton of pressure on Woods to at least get into a position to win this with a second place overall.
Yeah, I think you gotta just think I gotta get back to fourth, right? I think the magic number would probably be fifth with the way the points are, but it's going to be tricky. I mean, you start losing every position, you start to lose even more as Braden Tharp. Is that just pass for the lead?
That was a pass for the lead, yeah.
He blew by him so fast. I just wasn't even expecting it. That is my bad, guys. But Braden Tharp just absolutely demolishing these guys, and just so much pressure on Cash Woods. Just all he needs to do, lock in, keep it on two wheels. I think by the end of the 20 minutes, he'll get up there back on the podium with the speed he has. He just can't crash.
Yeah, Holtze had made a mistake there and didn't get the rhythm section, which is why Tharp went by so quickly. Then Arnbrister went down after he moved into second in the background. So here's Chowsey now on to Holt for the second position on the track. We know Chowsey, again, has got that speed. Holtze a little off track there for just a moment. Allows Chowsey back into the picture. Delaire now fourth, Cepeda fifth. Where is the 79 of Woods? He is in 12th, so still some work to do. And now with Tharp out front, again, pressure is on because he's got to make some passes. I'm going to hope that my guy, Luke Sheff, in chat is keeping us up to date on the overall scores, where it's going to lay out, because if third is where he ends up overall and Tharp wins this with a 4-1, that is going to be Tharp's championship. So we're going to need to really do some math here and figure it out. Dualies. Big ones right there. Sorry, I missed the first one, but man, this is insane. These guys going at it. It looks like Chowsey wants to get by Holtze quickly.
Yeah, he is. I mean, all these guys trying to just make some moves. Whenever you feel like you're faster than someone, even if it's by 0.2 a lap, you just want to get by them. I know the feeling. Not that well, actually, because it's been a long damn time since I've been faster than anyone. But look at that, trying to force the move. You feel like you're being held back, and it's just nerve-wracking up the inside. We've seen that move so many times. If you can downside that cleanly, sneak up the inside, that is a sneaky, really good passing spot on this track. And I think we need to keep an eye out for that the rest of the race on this 250 class.
Yeah, this is going to be tight through there, going to be tight through these sections. Again, the back section could also come into play for passing. But now if you're Chelsea, set sail away from Evan Holt. Dallaire trying to get back into the mix. There's Arnbrister, Vic, Wells, Branson, and now Woods has made it to 9th. So he's made another pass on his teammate, Jake Spieth, but then Spieth gets him back. He's between teammates right now, actually, as Emmanuel Cepeda is behind him. And then Woods has got to be, I don't know if he's freaking out that he's not in position, but he's got teammates around him trying to help. Arnbrister was down. That should be another spot as they go side by side off the tunnel. Woods does make that pass back into 9th, and he's starting to see some good single-digit numbers, which could mean second place overall regardless.
Yeah, I think that's what you got to think is just keep knocking them off. Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking. You got some teammates, but look at that. One blows off the track, and that's an easy pass right there. So now you can take a deep breath over some of these big jumps, kind of let your hands relax. Look at those 3 guys behind him. Just realize we just saw him make it through all of those. That was probably hell for him. Cash Woods just trying to survive. Finally up into 8th, working his way back to where he was early on. Keep it on 2 wheels. Don't get sucked back into that. I don't think your teammates are going to make any crazy passes because this championship is coming down between you and one of their teammates as well. So I think they're going to play it clean and let him ride away if he gets a chance to.
I mean, it almost felt like, and I could be wrong, but it almost felt like Spieth went off the track on purpose to let him go, and now he's maybe pushing him. Ooh! As Branson gets up from a small fall and Woods goes by to get into 7th. Next up is Cody Wells to try to get into 6th. So again, we're looking at that 1-6, 1-5 range looking so enticing to lock down at least second overall, depending on how things shake out. Of course, Dylan Dallaire factors into this. He was second in the first moto,
so
right?
2-4-6.
2-4 versus that 1-5. Better second moto score would be the difference maker. So you got to maybe get to Dallaire. But first of all, Cody Wells in the way, trying to get by him around the outside. Wells jumps across to defend the line, and Woods has got to be freaking out. It's still early enough in the race to make these passes, but time is of the essence.
Yeah, but that's where if I'm him, I'm not sending it. Sometimes you look at the track position, and all you need to do is get the... You want the time on the track, but all you need is that number in front of you, and he's sending it so hard on the outside. Clips the back of him. Looks like he stayed up. I swear they touched right there. Couldn't tell from the camera angle, but he is sending it way too hard for where he's at right now and how early in the race. Still feels, I mean, it is early. 9 minutes have passed. Almost halfway, though. Look at this move up the inside, and he's going to take it.
Nice move by Cash Woods, gets him into 6th. And yes, as it runs, Tharp P1 on a 4-1, Dallaire P2 on a 2-4, Woods now P3 on a 1-6. This would be Tharp's championship by 4 points if it finishes just like this. He's gaining 15 based on the overall scores, the math that gives out those points at the end of the motos. So Woods has got to go get a few more passes. Critically, he needs to go past Dylan Dallaire, and Dallaire is about 10 seconds up the track of him. 12 seconds, actually.
Yeah, the good thing is, I think if he gets within 1, big brain, if he gets within 1, he would tie Dallaire, but Dallaire gets, oh my God.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He has to get
pass
Dallaire.
him, Kellen.
Because Dallaire was second in the first moto, so anything Dallaire does that could beat Woods in the second moto beats him overall. Obviously, the situation with Tharp out front, I guess the best case scenario for Woods here is if you can't get Dallaire, you hope that there's enough crashing up the road. Dallaire gets second, you get third, you go 1-3 and win the overall, and that pushes Tharp back to third in this race because then Dallaire would go 2-2. Obviously, that gets into the mix of trying to win the overall as well. So I don't know, man. There's so much math at play here, and we'll try to figure it out in the next 10 minutes plus 1 lap. Jackson Vick, Cash Woods, that is 5 and 6. So it's 6 seconds up to Jackson Vick now for Cash Woods to get there. I mean, meanwhile, though, how about Tharp just laying it down out front? We knew this is what he's capable of, but the times are looking good. Still 4 seconds up on Chelsea. No mistakes under the pressure that he's feeling right now.
No, he's doing exactly what he needs to do. And what's more surprising than Braden Tharp's ride, Kellen, because we've seen him do it so many times, is the consistency and speed that we've had Chelsea and Evan Holt have behind them. And they're 2 of the biggest guys playing spoilers, because any other day I would tell you that Dylan Dallaire is going to make it up to second no matter what. And Cash Woods with his speed is going to make it up to third, as we see Tharp making some mistakes on screen here. But Cash Woods is 28 seconds off the lead, Kellen. He's not even really close. you got the top 5 within 10, or the top 3 within 10 seconds of your leader. That's going to be so hard for Dallaire himself, and then even Cash Woods further back to get close. This thing's starting to look like it's Tharp's championship.
We'll have to see, though, because again,
a lot.
I mean, but Cash Woods, if he gets to Dallaire, that turns the tides, because then he would be beating Dallaire. He'd get second overall in this race.
He's lucky there within 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's where it really matters, is if they can get that gap down. And again, 8 minutes plus a lap. There's still time to do it. Ryan Chelsea, meanwhile, is closing the lead down a little bit, down to 2.5 seconds. So Tharp, a bit vulnerable for the lead position. Still would win the overall with a 4-2, but you have to keep an eye on that. How about Evan Holt? He's starting to make mistakes. A little bobble right there, down to 5 seconds back to Dallaire in 4th. There's Jackson Vick 5th, and then Cash Woods in 6th. So it's 8 seconds up to Dallaire between Woods and Dallaire at this point in time. Dallaire, again, still could factor in to win this championship, right? Because he's 20 points back of Cash Woods, but he was 9 back of Tharp. So the overall win would put him ahead of Tharp, but then he would need a little bit of luck with Cash Woods falling another few positions. Definitely would need a little bit more help right there, but he wants to maybe try to win this overall and give himself the best chance as well.
Yeah, that's the problem is Holtzy and Chelsea, their moto scores aren't super good from the night, so it's going to be tricky to get them between you on the overall results, and that's what you need before those points that you receive get multiplied. As Dallaire has a bad timing on the seat bounce, almost goes over the bars right there into the rollers, keeps it on 2 wheels though, and trying to get the wheels back underneath him and get comfortable through this outdoor section. The guys that are fast through this section though just look insanely fast. It's crazy. If you probably went back to 20th place, well, no, Hayden Stevenson's there and he is a ripper, but if you went maybe back to the LCQ or qualifying, just seeing the speed that some of these guys have through that outdoor section is absolutely blowing me away. But Dallaire chasing down as the battle for first is getting tight again, but it's within 3 seconds. Dallaire's within 5 seconds of his podium, so a lot of stuff going on right here. Just not on the screen together.
It just feels like we're waiting for something to come to a crescendo here. I mean, Dallaire doing the job right now in his position. Obviously, Jackson Vick maybe closing up as well. He could get in the mix. Cash Woods has got to start kind of getting going. It's only 7 seconds between he and Dallaire. We're kind of waiting for maybe a Dallaire mistake or something. I'm sure that's what Woods is relying on. Finally lays down his personal best, 127.8, but only 0.2 better than what Dallaire's putting down right now in 4th place. So needs even more. Like we need a mistake from Dallaire if you're Cash Woods at this point.
Yeah, and I think it being boring and nothing happening is kind of good for Cash Woods, like, so he doesn't feel like he needs to send it. Nothing's happening to him, but really nothing's happening to others, and it's hard. Sometimes you're preying on someone's downfall ahead of you so much that you start losing on focus of your own race. So I think it's good what Cash Woods is doing. Maybe Dallaire gets up to try to make a pass for position here and makes a mistake, or gets closer and feels like he needs to push it a little bit faster and blows a rut. Like, I don't know, man. Nothing is happening on this whole entire racetrack, but it feels like we're waiting, and I can just feel the weight of this race happening, just coming down.
Cash Woods onto the rear fender of Jackson Vick now, so this would be for 5th place. He's finally got to him as Vick made a couple mistakes, so this would be a 1-5, but again, Dallaire going 2-4 still beats him. The 4-1 of Tharp still beats the 1-5. Gosh, it's just all so close, and amazing to think that the job that he did in the first moto somehow just is not going to work out to be enough with all the pressure on the line right here. He has got to come through in the clutch and make 2 critical passes to win this championship. First up, though, Jackson Vick, and then another 7 seconds up the road, Dylan Dallaire still doing his thing. Vick, a little mistake. Here comes Cash Woods. It is on now in the battle for 5th.
Yeah, he's making passes, but just not on the right people as we're jumping into the sand here. Gets a little bit better drive, going to the outside, rails that corner. Can't really tell, not close enough. He's had some good speed out here, though. It's crazy because every time you get stuck in one of these battles, yeah, you need the position to get to him, but you're losing time when Dallaire has clean track ahead of you. So you got to make quick work, and just like that, Vic off the track.
They get together. Jackson Vic got back onto the track and comes together with Cash Woods. They're both down, and that could be the end of Cash Woods' chance at this title because he needed to get Dallaire. Vic was just in the way of that, and now he is so far back of where Dallaire is on the track.
I'm speechless, Kellen. I mean, you gotta know that you're not who you're racing against and that you're not really in the championship. And if you're Jackson Vic right there, it's...
I mean, I respect Vic for trying to fight for the position, but he made the mistake. He went off track, and then we talk about
on the outside.
We talk about those track reentries. You just cannot jump back into the main line from off track. That just doesn't work. I'm sure if you're Cash Woods, you're going to be maybe protesting that post race. We'll have to see how it shakes down, but that's little beside the point because it's not going to affect what Dallaire is doing. This is where he needed to get to, and Dallaire, with 3 minutes and a lap to go, has got this thing pretty solidified in second. So with Tharp out front, actually no, Chelsea takes over the lead. It's now a 2-4 versus 4-2 situation. Actually, Dallaire is tied for winning this overall, but the better second moto to Tharp is going to get the job done. And obviously with Chelsea now looking at a 9-1, he starts getting into play for some overall positioning as well. This is insane how this is playing out, but Chelsea trying to prove that first moto should have been his.
Yeah,
and then a front end tuck.
Blowing that front end right there, gets it and only holds on to it for about 5 corners on the track. Gives it right back after being so close all race, so close and so consistent. Him and Evan Holtze have been, but look at Cash Woods still back here fighting. Once it's just such a bummer. You're not in the championship. It's like the fact that there was an inside, then a second rut, and then a whole outside that was flat you could have gone to. All he wanted to do was stop from losing the position. Sometimes you got to take your L's, and it feels like this championship is deflated.
No, and he's down again, and it was getting closer. Dallaire was only 5 seconds up the road after another crash, so he really just threw it away again. I mean, we already talked about it with the contact with Vic, but that might have been the end. Vic goes down again, so he can't even challenge Dallaire. Those two getting together could have turned the tides, but man, oh man, this is falling every which way the right way for Braden Tharp as he goes back to the lead on a mistake from Ryan Chelsea. Dallaire looks like he was about to throw it away, then a gift again from another mistake out of Cash Woods. I cannot believe what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, there's only 1 minute plus a lap to go, but you never know what's going to happen or what would have happened to Dylan Dallaire if you just keep it on 2 wheels. And I'm sure he's just so flustered and upset, Kellen. It's getting to him. You're not thinking rationally about just keeping on 2 wheels, riding it out, praying something happens. I mean, there's so many times you see in the championship, it's like sometimes you just got to stay in your position and control. You don't really control your own destiny, but you can by keeping it on 2 wheels and giving yourself a chance. If you throw it down on the ground like that, you don't even get yourself the chance. So, man, absolute bummer right here. Cash Woods has got to be fuming right now. But
and he's down again. I was just about to say it's only 14 seconds. You just never know. But Dallaire has just done the consistent job he needs to do, and this is going to be his for the taking for that second place. But Braden Tharp out front. Time has expired. He had already crossed the line, so it's still 2 to go. I mean, I guess we're in Vegas. You throw the dice. We said in the first moto those positions would be so critical. Getting up to 4th. Hey, getting up to 3rd could have mattered, but it ends up being 4th in the end, and somehow the math is just going to math the right way where that 4th place is going to be just enough for a win in the second moto. Will get in the overall and let the chaos ensue behind him, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I mean, in chat we got people talking. This is what Deegan could have done, should have done, right? You go out, you win like a winner, the right way, and you prove that you're the fastest, and you let things shake out behind you, and it's going to work out for Braden Tharp this time as long as he can dodge some lappers, but going to have to get into a lot of them as he's coming around towards the white flag right now, and he is going to be 1 lap away from an SMX title. And wow, just absolute really good keeping his head on his shoulders as he takes the white flag here in Vegas.
So Tharp out front, and meanwhile, we have a Dallaire situation starting to brew a little bit right here. Now, with the overalls the way it is, Cash Woods on the 1-7, I don't think is in a position where, gosh, this is so weird how this is going to shake up. If Dallaire gets overall and Cash gets P3, wouldn't that mean Cash chip? Yeah, I guess so. So Dallaire could still steal the overall win. Here's Chelsea. He needs to get up to second to get the overall because a 2-2 would beat the 4-1 versus if he gets 2-3 around Holtzy, it doesn't matter. There's obviously some lappers getting involved right here. Oh, and then Dallaire went down. Jackson Vick goes by into fourth late as Dallaire picks it up. Spieth went by with Cash Woods, so that all changes.
And it's gone.
Yeah, just when we thought it might be materializing, never mind. Tharp has put this thing to bed out front, and he is on his way to win this overall and the title unless things go completely awry.
Yeah, Dallaire was 3 seconds back of making this thing insane and goes down on the last lap as well. Maybe he did it just in case. You go down just to solidify, you're not... Maybe he likes Braden Tharp more than Cash Woods. Who knows? Braden Tharp taking it easy in this final rhythm section, or second to last rhythm section there.
Dallaire
jumping into the
again.
rollers. Dallaire down again, having so many issues, but coming to the white flag is going to be your leader, Braden Tharp.
Yeah, so Tharp is about to take the win. We'll wait to call it because Woods still kind of has a shot at getting Dallaire, which is insane. Tharp wins the moto. Is it going to be the title? Chelsea second, Holt third, Vic fourth, Dallaire back to fifth over Spieth and Cash Woods. Dallaire
They're 7 seconds apart.
Needs to stay on two wheels, or else it is going to be Cash Woods who comes through and collects second overall with a 1, which would be a 1-6 for second overall. Unbelievable how it turns out. Can Dallaire stay up? 2 corners to go. On the on-offs, he gets through clean. This roller section has bit some guys. He bounces through them a little bit wayward on the exit. Up and over that rut. No, he is good. Doubles in, triples to the inside a little bit short, but doesn't matter. That will solidify it. Dylan Dallaire crosses in front of Cash Woods, and your champion for MX Simulator in 2025 is Braden Tharp.
Man, Cash Woods was once again sending and lost some time there. Would have just kept it close. Braden Tharp winning everything. He is absolutely dominating this 250 class, and he said this is going to be his last 250 race ever. So moving up, probably getting kicked out because he's so good of the class, and just absolute domination here in Vegas. Kellen, what an absolute wild ride there. Rough first moto, but goes out there and gets the job done. And hey, we said you needed those guys off the podium. Jackson Vick, Holtzy, and Chelsea all stepped up for Braden Tharp to make that an even wilder ride. This 250 class came down to the wire. Something changed in the top.
I think Cash Woods got Spieth on cuts. Yeah, that was
Not
it.
Dallaire,
so he gets 6. Yeah, Dallaire still ends up 5th, which is second overall, and Tharp 4-1 gets the win and the title. Unfreaking believable that Cash Woods loses it in the end by only 4 points, but that is the way the cookie crumbles. And Tharp, your 250 champion for 2025.
I could have sworn that Cash Woods finished like 9 seconds back and then was only 4 seconds back after the cuts were in. So honestly insane if any one of those times he went down or pushed a front, especially near the end, that could have been the difference right there. Because you always got to think cuts get into it. These guys are cutting the track all over the place, flying off of berms. Got to ride it out. Wait till the end. What an insane finish.
Absolutely insane, and sets us up for the final moto of the year. It's probably not for a championship. Very unlikely anything goes awry for Seth Carr, who won the first moto.
Maybe
pretty
impossible.
Pretty much just needs to start the second moto, and I think the title is his. But hey, someone else could win this race, and we saw Carr get a little bit wily in the lead. I don't think it was totally just not on purpose or anything like that, but we'll see. Second moto is coming up here for the 450s.
Yeah, I don't think it was on purpose. I think the track starts breaking down. You're pushing. You just have his speed. And yeah, maybe a little bit of degaff, but he's not trying to go down. So we'll see what can happen. He had a lot of good guys battling with him last time. We'll see if Joey Carter can get another start, if Cooper Hunt can run up front for as long as he did like last time. Wyatt Grant, all sorts of guys out here. Shipley that worked his way so far through the pack. Heavy hitters, so many names. Alec Horn had a good ride. Chase B, never saw ya. John Heilman.
Never saw
Who
ya.
else we got? Looking at kits. 228 looks like my boy Frosty. Joey Carter, Ryan Bednar, Seth Shirley, beautiful Pablo Vial. Who else? We ran through all of them.
Yeah.
Well, let's run it back.
Let's run it back.
I'm trying to find my favorite.
They're all right. They're not bad. They're okay.
Yeah, that one.
Frank Jackson.
The equal matter. Hashtag 4J-Rob. You win.
Love it. Yeah, and Frank Jackson, I don't even know what he got in the first moto with that torn UCL in his thumb, but he's at least here trying his best. All right, one more time for 2025. Let's drop the gate in MX Simulator and see if anything else wild can happen. It does seem very, very likely that Seth Carr is going to win this championship, but does anybody else win this race? We will know in 20 minutes plus 1 lap. 30 card goes up for the final time in 2025. These guys are looking down the gate, and they're going to see it go sideways. Here we go from Las Vegas. One more time in 25. Let's drop the gate. Off and running, those tricky rollers into turn number 1, bite a few more guys, and wouldn't you know it, Seth Carr sneaks up the inside on the 6 and gets the whole shot. Is it goodbye time, or are we about to see some battling?
Goodbye for now. So long for now, as you would say, signing off a stream. I think Seth Carr, he was on like the second gate, and I think when you trust your starting abilities that fast and reaction time, no one was even close, and he wasn't even scared on that start with anyone getting into him. Look at how big the gap already is, Kellen. You got one rider within like 4 seconds of him because a couple small mistakes through those rhythms. Seth Carr just instantly falls into a groove and starts to pull away from these guys.
Yeah, it's Caden Pankow who was in second. Alec Horn able to get by. It's already almost 5 seconds the lead that he is opening up as Horn goes by. Pankow, Belar's up here. Vial up into a top 5 start this time through. Caleb Hall, Bendis, Shirley, Jackson, D. Davis up in the mix. So that's good to see. Chase Blakely up here as well as down goes. Who was that? Was that Shirley? No, it's Vial after a good start going down. So Shirley able to get through. All right, and they're all chasing this man. I mean, goodness gracious. Is he about to put down some quali laps to start this off and just try to put a massive gap on the field again?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think lap time wise, I don't think he can run quali laps without the ruts. But yeah, I think you're going to see pretty much borderline as fast as you can go on the track, whatever is physically possible. I think you're going to see him do that. He's got zero pressure right now. Go out there. What you're going to see is basically the style of riding I think that Payson Johnson used to ride with, which is like, I'm the fastest. I qualified everyone by 2 seconds. I got the whole shot. Let me try to do that every single lap and show off. And yeah, it's going to be happening, I think, for the rest of the race, Kellen.
Completely smooth track. Goes 126.6 on the first lap. Unbelievable.
Doubled around the corner and then triples over the table, cutting both those corners on the pixie sticks. Line we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, he's just a different breed, man. Then I guess nobody wanted a piece of him. We had a lot of guys back out of this series. We got a lot of protests that taken some guys out as well, but just no one on the table ready to do the battle with Seth Carr for this championship. And in the end, we're settling for a good fight for second, I suppose. Belar's up here fighting with Noah Bendis as Seth Shirley finally getting into the mix early in this one. 7th on the opening lap after one full lap, trying to get around some of these guys. We got more riders down. A hang up in that corner. Shirley goes from 7th all the way up to 3rd, just like that. I'm keen. I would be really keen to see if Shirley got the start, if he could run with Carr, but I guess we are not going to know. And look at Noah Bendis just passing Seth Shirley, low lining on the inside right there, just not keen to give up the position, goes back into 3rd.
I'm not surprised he made that pass, but the fact that they landed touching wheels in that rut and none of them went down, Shirley working this inside line, looks like a flat track demon there, the way he's trying to work that line in early on this race. A string of Hondas, KTMs, and all sorts of orangey red bikes right here. But Bendis trying to get away from Shirley, trying alternate lines too, which I really like the way that he's able to do this. Just saw across top of your screen, they finished very far up front earlier. Wyatt Grant, Cooper Hunt, 13 and 14.
Tough break for them. We'll see if they can charge through the field like we saw some of their contemporaries like Seth Shirley do in the first moto. Shirley still working on Bindis as Caden Pankow out of the LCQ holds on to a strong second place. The gap 10 seconds now, Seth Carr, over the rest of the field 4 minutes into this 20-minute plus one lap race. I mean, he is just electrifying in these early laps, making it really difficult to see why anyone else would even get up there and fight with him, and kind of proving why he is going to be the champion of this series when the dust settles. But still plenty of good battles throughout the field. Let's go back. How about Frank Jackson? We finally see him up here in Moto 2. Not really anywhere in sight in the first Moto, but Moto 2, much better start, fighting a torn UCL in his left thumb, and up here mixing it up with these guys. And that's the left thumb that we all used to turn with, which is crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure Braden Carter's got some weird, he shifts up with it and then sits down with it or something like that. But every single person uses their left thumb, and that's not a good one to injure to steer. Frank Jackson, honestly, I'm impressed that his best moto is maybe Moto 2. I thought maybe he'd qualify good or have his first session be good, as he almost wads it going in there, gets Huckabuck through the rollers, keeps it on two wheels. I thought maybe he'd get some like thumb fatigue from it, but doing best so far early on in this second moto, 5 minutes in, and he's still crushing it up front inside the top 5. So awesome to see him out here after thinking he might not even be a factor or racing tonight. So good for him. Ooh, a little battle between... No, Shirley's just still on Bindis.
Yep.
Just still on Bindis the whole time.
Hasn't passed him yet. Almost goes over the bars right there, trying to close the gap down. I mean, credit to Noah Bindis. He's running 128.5s, faster than what Pankow's doing ahead. So I think maybe he's even got his sights trying to run down and steal a second place in this race. His car's opened it up almost 15 seconds out front now. But if you're Shirley, this has got to be frustrating, because I feel like he thinks he's got the speed to at least get in a second, and then who knows what could happen. I mean, he almost won the first moto with how much car went down, but Bindis is just making him work extra hard for it. Another hard chop block, cutting across to the inside to defend, and Shirley just right back to the drawing board again. Still can't get around the 58.
I'm loving what Noah Bindis is doing, honestly. Is he from Temecula, or is that just a team?
I think that's just the team.
Okay. Well, ooh, look at that. Takes his line away because he's seen he's been using that inside. Slows up a little extra, too. Gives him a little brake tap. And the way that Bindis is riding defensively, but still able... Is he going to go to the inside here, too? No, leaves it open. Shirley's been going inside, but he gets a better drive from the outside. Bindis knows he's not close enough to take it over. He is riding like one of a champion right now. The way Bindis has been defending this, honestly, it's really impressive. I know this track's pretty one line in spots, but we've seen a bunch of passes, and it's really impressive to see what he's doing.
I mean, he's just one of those guys that I guess when the timing is right, he can figure out a track and go the speed of the leaders, which is cool to see. Definitely making Shirley work for it. And they are closing on Pankow, just slowly, lap after lap, inching closer. Pankow did run his personal best, but I feel like I see him in the picture just ever so slightly, even more, as we watch these two battle. Now, we've seen how one line this track is. Where is Shirley going to try to figure out a pass as he goes off the track and down? Never mind.
Maybe in the stands, when he gets a beer, he'll figure out a way to make that pass. But honestly, with what Shirley did in the first moto, I have no doubt he can get at least back to Noah Bindis. But he's got... Yeah, he doesn't have to make it past anyone, right? He didn't even pass Wyatt Grant, or get passed by Wyatt Grant. So just got to get back on the horse. Frank Jackson, I guess, passed him. But, man... Are you not surprised by Pankow and Bindis right now? Like the way
surprised.
The way that they've ridden Pankow from the LCQ, by the way, for the 18th time, just absolutely crushing it out front. The Dr. Do machine's got a little bit extra do in them. They're doing it up front and making it happen. Obviously, he's not anywhere close to Seth Carr, but I like to try to give these guys their flowers when they're having great races and good nights overall. And him and Pankow are... Wait, what?
Pankow just went slightly off the track on the on-offs, and Bindis was able to get by him. So Bindis now up into second place. But yeah, you're right. They're having great races. Frank Jackson lets Seth Shirley go by. I wonder if it's just too much to deal with that thumb. Doesn't want to have to fight him for it. So just trying to do his laps and hold on to a top 5 if possible. Wyatt Grant has made it up to 6th, though, and he is on the charge. 128.8 last time by. Personal best was a 128.6 the lap before, so he has figured out the groove, and Jackson just went down, so Grant up into the top 5. Remember, he was 5th in the first moto, so can he get up there or no, was he 3rd the first moto? I don't remember. I'm all over the place, but definitely up inside the top 5, and now trying to fight into a good position, maybe even get a podium overall. Could end up 3rd overall in the series when it all is said and done as well.
Yeah, with these triple points, anything can happen, and he's been what feels like very consistent. I was going to look it up, Kellen, but every time I look at live timing to look at names and numbers, I miss a pass. So it's like 4 times a night. I'm going to try not to do that while I'm talking. But Wyatt Grant riding absolutely great out here, and I mean, seems like he's figured out the consistency part of the game pretty good. The only problem is the guy he's chasing down, Shirley, and the other 2 ahead of him are also really damn consistent. So he's got to have the speed. So we'll be checking lap times, I guess, as we kind of get through into the second half of the race, if he can start knocking off a couple tenths here and there and making some moves happen. But yeah, I love what we're seeing inside this top 5, losing so many heavy hitters, and we've had so many guys step up. I love that it's not just Seth Carr checking out by 50 seconds.
Yeah, 100%. It's good to see more of these faces do well. And Wyatt Grant going down almost on that table over single, cases it and gets sideways. Thanks to my guy Talon, who you can catch with us tomorrow night on the AOMX FXR MX Bikes Championship. We co-stream that together. He gave us an update on the overalls. Obviously, Carr going 1-1 for P1. Shirley 2-4 for second right now. And then Bendis with a 6-2 in third. Wyatt Grant with a 3-5 in fourth. Cooper Hunt with a 5-7 rounds out our top 5, at least as it runs. Looks like Seth Shirley did get back around Noah Bendis, who went down. So Bendis back to fourth. Caden Pankow up in second by himself. 128.9. I mean, our leader's doing 126s, but Caden Pankow definitely looks like he is not afraid to run some good laps.
No, not at all. And I think he's just found his flow on this track. I wonder if there's just people where the SMX style like fits in, where it's not just full gnarly motocross with ruts and bumps everywhere nonstop, just in super high speeds. And like maybe they're not super technical supercross guys, but we haven't seen that on any track really. I guess Charlotte was a little rough, but like actually Charlotte was really, really rough. But I feel like some of these guys, it feels like a hybrid of everything, where they just get a nice meet in the middle, and it's actually pretty easy to ride for them. Maybe just fits in their skill set. I feel like these SMX tracks are one where I would really like. I always liked when we did the Monster Cup tracks that were like this a little bit. The rhythm sections were easier. Off-track excursion, but gets back on nicely. But over Scrubs right there, falls or tips over, able to get back on 2 wheels, and don't look now, Seth Shirley breathing down his neck.
Yeah, here comes Seth Shirley on the 44 to try to finally seal that P2 off. And when Seth Carr looked like he was absolutely running away, we are once again at the halfway point where things are sort of going backwards. It's only a 12-second lead over Pankow as Shirley goes to work on Pankow for second place. So Shirley, who knows? Could he win the overall here tonight? It's not going to be for the championship, but if he gets around Pankow, has some clean air, starts running some good laps. We saw how close it got in the first moto with those car mistakes. Look at this line. Shirley inside on Pankow and cuts the line off to get the job done up to P2. Wonder why no one else is taking that line.
Yeah, it feels like Shirley's been developing that line solely by himself. I think you just have to have that skill for the flat tracking abilities. So good on your brakes and throttle and just everything there to not wash your front, not slide out. And he's getting the traction down and straight drag racing these guys off that step down double, even though they're all the way out on the hitting that berm and should have so much more speed. It's unreal the amount of power he's able to get down to the ground. And yeah, I mean, more people, if you get passed by him, you got to start using that line, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would think so,
or
right?
At least like blocking him.
Yeah, I mean, for the blocking purposes for sure, but it just seems faster. I don't know, like maybe go for it or something. Saw a yellow flag, thought it might have been Carr. It is not. 12.7 seconds, 128.0 by Shirley last time by, but finally in clean air. Let's see if he can lower that 127.9 as his personal best. It does look like Carr is back on a bit of his normal speed, so maybe just a couple mistakes. I mean, he's got this thing so in the bag now that it's pretty easy to just kind of do his own thing. I don't think he's even trying to manage the race or do anything. I think he's just out here having a joyride, because you should. You're going to win this title pretty easily in the end, and what does it matter if you win the overall? You got a massive championship lead to work with.
Yeah, I think there's times in this game, too, where you just get into, like, it's almost the opposite of flow state, but you're just like looking way far ahead. You're not even looking at the track. You're just riding it.
Ooh.
And maybe he wasn't looking at the track. He was looking at that light he just ran into. That's going to bring this down to probably about 6-second gap right here. So we'll bring it in within a crash with Seth Shirley, though, as he catches up to where he was. But I feel like you got to just, if you're Seth Carr, you get to that point where you're not paying attention. You're just riding. It's like you got off work or school or whatever you do, and you're just going to ride a track for, 10, 15 minutes to warm up. And you just kind of like stop paying attention. I feel like that's what you got to do when you're out front and you're in that position, because overthinking it might have it end up getting close like it did last time with him going down a bunch with lappers and on his own.
I'm just shaking my head over here because I finally looked at the timing sheets and saw the lap time that Seth Carr just put down before he crashed, a 1:24.8. We are now sub-quali laps on this track. He is flying around this track, but obviously susceptible to mistakes when you're pushing this hard trying to run down those quali laps. So if you're Shirley, I guess just kind of keep it close, because at any point in time, Carr could roll the windows up again and allow you back into it while he tries to run these ridiculous lap times out front.
Yeah, for sure. I think we go on board here. I think the secret to that lap time is that double across the corner in the blue hay bale section. Whoa, as he goes over, but he stays on the bike, not going to go off, maybe lose 3 or 4 more seconds. But Seth Shirley going to be close, so we won't be on board with him. We'll probably keep an eye from here, but do want to see what he's doing. If he's doing that jump across line, it's been absolutely crazy. But Caden Pankow, it's right here. No, he was doubling across there and then tripling across that one, so taking one whole jump away. But man, it's a battle for second right now with Seth Shirley has Pankow breathing down his neck. So Shirley could easily get this. It wouldn't even be a tie with the 1-2-2-1. If Pankow follows him into the lead, Seth Carr could just throw this thing away, maybe end up off the podium.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely could be a little bit up in the air. Obviously, Shirley, it's still so far back for a championship picture that Carr's got this thing, I mean, basically signed, sealed, and delivered at this point. And he's down on the outside of the sweeper. So there you go. Finally, for the first time all day, he gives up the race lead. It's now Shirley out front looking at a 2-1 to win the overall. It wouldn't be for the championship, as we've mentioned plenty of times. But now Carr has to do the chasing. I wonder if this maybe stabilizes him a little bit, or do you think he's just throwing caution to the wind?
Yeah, maybe it gives him something to look at so he kind of settles down and just focuses in. He's only got 3.5 minutes plus a lap to go, so I think he'll be able to settle down. Still the only one using the outside line, Seth Shirley. Seth Carr didn't even try to follow it. One cool thing in chat, Kellen, that we're seeing, Cooper Hunt is in 3rd place overall on the round with 9 points. Grant, 9 points as well, but the worst 2nd place finish, tied, so he'll be in 4th. And Bendis with 6.5 for 11 points in 5th. Those guys all pretty close to each other on the track position-wise, just not time-wise for their battles, so kind of bummer for that. As we see Shirley getting pressured by Carr here back on the screen. There's a neat little trick right there. Look at this, just pulling over, let the battle go. That's a good lapper.
Frank Jackson's thumb is done. He is not out there anymore. But Seth Carr is certainly not done. He wants to go get Shirley for the race lead, and he is flying around this track right now to try to get there. So Shirley has to try to figure out some speed somewhere to respond. 1:27.5 is his best. Look at Carr down the inside, just forces the pass to happen, and through into the lead he goes. Says, I don't want Shirley to win this. I'm winning the overall today. I just wanted to make an interesting race, guys. Come on now.
I think that was actually just flexing on him in front of everyone. Getting back behind someone who we know is fast. He's in 2nd place. We know he's fast and consistent, and giving him a couple bike lengths, then just absolutely demolishing him, starting with a crazy big whip that I thought he was going to crash on. Unreal speed by Seth Carr in that outdoor section. That's why he's winning everything this year. It feels like him and Tharp have just had such a dominant 2025. These guys going outdoors to SMX, not losing a beat.
Yeah, and update in chat. Carr needs to get P9 overall or better to lock down the championship if Shirley wins the overall. But obviously, I mean, again, he could probably slip back to 20th place probably and still go 120 for 9th overall. I just don't see how it flips the tide any other way. But that lap time, 26.5, passing into the lead, and now a mistake. Shirley back there again, so it's not over yet as we continue to watch the fight for the overall win. I'd like to see some other battles, but somehow, some way, best fight on track is the one for the overall win that has no bearing on the championship.
Yeah, I see one pass got made by mistake, I think, with Caden Pankow or something right there, but not one battle was within a second, and this one is, so you just got to watch these guys and sit back and relax. I mean, he's all but got the title clenched. So, yeah, it would be cool. Hopefully there's something that moves somebody else, maybe a Wyatt Grant or a Bendis or Shirley or someone into second or third for the for this championship. But, man, it's just awesome to watch these two duke it out one more time for the year before we go away for at least 3 months. Yep. Who knows? And, man, it's just insane to see the top level of talent that we have in this game.
Oh, Carr mistake, gets sideways, and Shirley goes by. I was just about to mention, we seem closer to the time this time by, but not quite close enough, as Shirley is going to come down. 15 seconds still to go. There's just no way he can wait for it with Carr right on his hips. So we're going to cross with, gosh, man, 9 seconds on the clock when they cross. So close, but it is still going to be 2 laps to go. Carr now back to the chasing position, and this time I want to go on board with him and just watch the magic happen.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, or the chaos that's happening. It's crazy to see that the lap times the 450s can be so much faster, Kellen, but almost every single race here tonight, actually, I think all 4 of them have ended up with the leader crossing the line with under 15 seconds to go. So after 20 minutes of racing, they're that close to each other for when they hit the white stripe. Just absolutely insane stuff here. Look at Seth Carr pushing. We've seen some crazy stuff in these outdoor sections and ruts in the last year. We saw a last lap pass for the title. Let's see if we can see some magic just with Seth Carr and how much he can push these corners jumping into this inside rut right here.
Honestly, it feels like Shirley maybe upped his pace again because Carr is hauling, but Shirley seems to be keeping that gap status quo, so nothing changing just yet. Again, Shirley goes defensive inside right there. Carr to the outside. Oh, just right on the edge of that rut. But it's at 1.6 seconds as we're coming to the white flag this time by. Carr is absolutely sending it, trying to get back to Shirley's rear wheel as the white flag is about to come out. He triples through the rollers. I don't think I've seen anybody go fast enough to hit that. God. He's tripling onto the table. I thought he was going to be able to do that, and he does as he closes right back up to Shirley's rear wheel. White flag is out. It's a 27-2 to a 26-1. What does Carr have up his sleeve?
After that, I have no idea. Double, triple, what else can he do? Can he jump this somewhere? Like, what the hell is happening? It's crazy that you called that earlier tonight, Kellen, and then the second I saw him lean halfway through that corner, I was like, yeah, this is happening right now. Absolutely insane corner speed from the madman Seth Carr. Still cannot chase down Seth Shirley. That he has the speed to almost match, though. Now here it's getting closer, Kellen. Can he make something happen here? It's kind of one line.
It's coming down to it as we go through the switchbacks in the back. Carr jumps off the track. He has to check up a little bit right there to not, make it look like he was obviously going to cut the track. He slows down, but gets right back into tow with Shirley as we go over the tunnel jump. Shirley kind of crosses over. Carr tries to land early, but shorts the downside. Doesn't get close enough. And remember, Shirley, defensive inside line right here will work for him because it's the line he's been taking the entire race. Faster through there. Carr's going to jump down a little bit farther to the inside. No, he follows him to the outside. One more turn to go in the on the season, and look, mistake in the background by Carr is going to give it to Shirley. He gave it everything he had. He defends well against Carr in the end, and one turn to go. Seth Shirley is going to win the finals here in Las Vegas. He doesn't win the title, but he wins the overall in Las Vegas. Seth Carr, he's just messing around now. He knows he has the championship, so he's going to go back and hit the triple. He rips through this corner. Look at, now we're just having fun. Gets up on top of that, no problem. And now he can start celebrating. Seth Carr is your 2025 MX Simulator champion of the world.
Pretty sure he knew he still had the lead, went through the section, missing it, then fully turned around. Absolute domination by Seth Carr, but shows he is human. There are cracks in his armor as Seth Shirley goes through and takes away that win. Noah Bendis with some pressure right here, trying to make something happen, and holds on to a little bit ahead of Ryder Bednar. Can't read. But we're going to have to see a lot of these close finishes, though, are going to come down the cuts. Walter Gebhardt was in a fight to the death with Wyatt Grant, who was who was ahead of him for the last 3 laps. I was watching the battle, and Gebhardt is going to get it from the LCQ. Jeff Cooper says, F you, hay bales. I'm cutting this last corner. I'm over the season. 31 races is too damn much. Schiabro coming through in 11th here, throwing it down on the finish. Caleb Hall, followed by Pablo Vial, so that must have been a lapper behind him. Pablo Vial.
Last guy to cross. He triples on. Look at that.
From the inside?
No, he was outside. But there's a couple guys finishing up. Dang. That solidifies it. Shirley with the dub in the race. But Carr wins the title for 2025. Many, many congratulations, Seth Carr and Braden Tharp, your 2025 MX Simulator champions. The 1 seeds get it done. All right, back in studio, Kellen Brower, Andrew Wood, to wrap this thing up. And, man, in the end, we knew Carr was going to win it in the 450 class. I don't think we thought it would go that way. And then on the flip side, the 250 class was wild, and Cash Woods enters with the championship lead, leaves second in the championship.
Sad. Not that I wasn't rooting for... Not that I was rooting for someone specific, but I kind of wanted to see Cash Woods hold on to it. I feel like he had such a coming of his own this year and had so many good fights back, stealing it back in the second round to be able to get those double points and take what we thought Tharp was going to run away with, being the number 1 seed and winning the first round. Pretty awesome. I'm a fan of the underdogs, so speaking of, I need to check the Dodger game, but hopefully the Reds are winning. But yeah, I mean, great to all these champions that we crowned tonight. A little bit more exciting too in the 450 class than I thought it was going to be. At least Seth Shirley going out, giving us some great racing, which 450 class always does. But congrats to our 2 champions here tonight. Yeah, awesome riding by Seth Carr, Braden Tharp. And I'm just glad to be back with you, Kellen. Nothing I love more than doing these streams with you. Oh,
it was a blast. And thanks so much to the MXS Battlegrounds team for inviting us to stream these races. Hopefully you guys enjoyed us back in the booth calling the action. I don't think we're going to be completely done. I really do think that there's a chance we're back in 26. It just comes down to finding funding for this all and making it possible for us to come every week and do this. But hopefully we will see you in 2026. If not, it's been a fun ride again. And thanks so much for tuning in to the 2025 MX Simulator playoff broadcast live here on Start Your Systems TV. For MXS Battleground, Start Your Systems TV, Andrew Wood, Kellen Brower, everybody here, thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you guys soon. But this is it. We are out of here, and so long for now.